Gotta go on YouTube now. See.
Yup. And yeah, we're there. We're there. There we go. All right. So this is not an official return so much, guys. It's just every once in a while good to have a good old chinwag here. So we're with Mike Silva. So maybe a couple people will show up. That'll be nice. I keep getting these.
Oh, they will.
Yeah. And if they don't, we'll just talk baseball or hockey. We can talk about hockey. It's all good. Um,
So,
so Big Clue sent
okay.
me some Latin there. So
Well,
yeah, he sent something in Latin. So so what's been going on with you, Mike? What's been going on? Like
I don't know, not
what
much.
are you?
Just like
Yeah, what are you doing these days? What are you
just doing
playing?
my 86, my 1986 replay. Just working on that, just trying to grind away and get that going. I'm past the All Star break now. I'm a lot further than I ever thought I'd be at this point. So,
Nice, nice. So what are you? So you're managing Boston. So what are you doing like for the other
no,
teams?
I do every team,
You're
every
doing
game,
every team.
every game.
Man, you're a man after Ken Castro's own heart. Hey, Bernie. Yeah, this is Clinton. This is it says in the tin. I'm not like officially back, but Mike wanted to talk. Anybody wants to talk baseball or just wants to talk, I'm in. So it's all good. Yep, it is I. It is I. Bernie, you. Hey, Dwayne. Bernie, you did a great job tonight. You did a great job tonight, and I'm glad you agree that Appa Go sucks. So yeah, so Clinton, Mike, he's saying that you're like
Yeah,
he and cousin Ken. You guys play out every game. That
love it.
I've never ever. I played a lot of cards and dice when I was an undergrad, and man, we never did like every team. That's like
Oh, I know.
wow, that is
Well,
crazy.
like I said though, well, one thing that's really sped it up a little bit is like
Hmm.
I'll play like maybe a whole game week worth of cards and dice. Then I might go a few days worth from using Action PC. And I'll use those. So that the Action PC actually speeds it up a lot. Like I actually get a lot more games.
Oh shit! Yikes!
You there,
Yeah,
Beatles?
I'm here. I'm sorry about that. Can you still hear me?
Oh, is that you or me?
We're both here. I accidentally closed the Discord window because
Oh,
so hey, there's our Red Sox fan.
okay.
So yeah, wow, Al. Finally, after all these years, Al gets a nice avatar. Nathaniel, how you doing? Good to see you. So guys, this is just going to be a very, very kind of rare, every once in a while thing. So this is not me back doing stuff yet. Anyhow,
Yep.
back to Mike. Mike's talking about he's actually doing cards and dice every team in a 1986 replay,
Yep.
like the way Cousin Ken and Clinton does it. And Al, nice, nice avatar. It's nice to see something there instead of just the green owl. So,
Yep.
Mike, so what like how far are you into your replay? And talk about it, man, because
Oh,
all these guys here play cards and dice.
yeah, it's crazy. Like like I said, I use Action PC some here and there just to like kind of speed through a few days. Like I can get a bunch of games played a lot faster than I can with the cards and dice.
Sure.
But mostly it's all payoff pitch, APA, and I started out with Stratomatic, but I started using APA and payoff pitch because I have all the cards, all the players, and all the cards for those games.
So,
So,
yeah.
but yeah, I'm in July 21st now. I mean, I'm pretty
Damn.
far along.
So what are
I
you
know
what are
it's
you
a
using to keep stats, like for your
I'm
season?
Digital Diamond.
You're using Digital
But
Diamond. That game is
yeah, for
impressive for
everything.
that.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
But I love it. It's a very ambitious It's the first project I've ever used for cards and dice because I just started playing cards and dice. So it's very ambitious, but I feel like once I get that done, I think I'll just. I mean, I love doing this, but I'm kind of already looking forward to like doing other projects too. But maybe a
Nice.
little smaller scale.
Yeah.
But
Well, you jump in the deep end. That's how they taught you to swim back in the day.
yeah,
Just threw you in, right? Boom. There you go. Sink or
it's great
swim.
though. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love having. I know every pitch of the or every at bat of the league. Like I know exactly what happens. So it's kind
Nice.
of cool.
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I mean, kudos to you guys that can do that because it's just like, For me, I mean, like I do, and I'm really, not only doing Pocket Pennant Run, I'm digging into a game that ID Jester featured on his channel back in 2019. He hated the game because it didn't have teams, but it's a collection of like thousands of all-time great players, and it's basically Sports Illustrated baseball, but on steroids, and it plays
Yep.
nicely. And I'm like, I'll probably do a little Pocket Pennant Run if I come back and start doing this regularly, because I'm so enamored not only of that game, but that software is like off the
Yeah.
charts, as you know. And
It is
dude,
cool.
it's Friday. It was a long week at work. It's
Yep.
brilliant, not only just for that game, but I mean, just for research. It's like these guys really went all in, and it's free. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, I mean,
So
you don't get it. You have to pay. You don't have to buy the product. I mean, I
you have to
bought
buy the product at $20.
$20.
Yeah,
It's like nothing.
yeah, $20, and the cards look nice. I mean, although again with Digital Diamond Baseball, what I love about, and I've said this on my channel, as a purely digital baseball game, right? Not as a companion, as a purely digital baseball game, it's a B or a B plus. It's not at the level of Out of the Park, I think, for a
Right.
purely digital game at all, not
Right.
even close, or Action PC, or even baseball for Windows. But when you add in that board game companion, I mean, you think about
Oh,
it,
it's great.
your footprint, right? And many thanks to Dave Gardner, was watching his videos just to get in depth.
Yep.
He was doing some Status Pro, some
Yep.
Pocket Pen, and some other games. I'm like, man, because right now I don't have a lot of room where I am, and I have two cats. So it's like
Yeah.
I don't have to have cards out. I don't have to have a game board out right now, and Digital Diamond just does everything. And I'll tell you what, Mark Cohen hit it out of the park. Pardon the pun with the game
Yeah.
this year. He
Oh,
really
it's
really
great.
did.
Unbelievable. I mean, that companion is just it allows me to use different games.
Mm-hmm.
I can just play around and have some fun with one season and just have use whatever different game I feel like using at the time, and I can and everything's centralized on all the stats and everything centralized on Digital Diamond. It's unbelievable. I love it. I couldn't have found a better product. I
Yeah, you
mean,
know what? That's Please go ahead, Mike. Yeah.
yeah. What's that?
No, no, no. So I was just gonna just jump in and say, I mean, because I have Digital Diamond back to version 6, I think, or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In
I never
fact,
even
if
heard of
you
it until
look
this
on
year.
his, I did a couple seasons for it, like decade sets and stuff like that, um, under an old name and things like that. But it was just that like when it came out with the board game companion, that was just genius, right? Because
Yeah.
you've got guys using these other programs, which are, I'm sure they're good. I can't really speak to it as much as the rest of the guys in here play a lot of cards and dice, but to have, right, you have like a full-fledged baseball game, which I think it has a pretty good underlying engine just on its own, rolling those dice.
Hmm.
But
It
now,
does.
really, because most plays in baseball, it doesn't matter what game you're playing, right? A fly out to left is a fly out to left, and
Yep.
you get used to that syntax. It's like play what you want, and I really, that's what's kind of drawn me into it. And
Oh.
I've just been messing around with the 1971 season, obviously offline, because
Yep.
I think it's a great baseball season. I'm a Pirate fan, so there you are.
Yeah.
But so I'm just curious then. So you're using Digital Diamond for kind of the housekeeping and stat keeping and stuff like that. Could I don't know, maybe I'm the only one here that doesn't do that, but I was wondering, could you talk more about how that process works? Like, is it just like as you're playing, because you're doing every game, so everything's just
Yeah.
updated automatically. I'm trying to get myself out of this thought of just managing one team, because a lot of guys will manage one team and
Yep.
then right have something like, I know Robert with Inside Pitch has, I don't know what the thing's called. It's a sheet of paper and he rolls dice and it gives you the score of a game. It's like, I don't know what it
Oh,
is.
yeah. That's the fast score or something like
Fast
that.
score, that's it.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never used it, but it
Yeah,
comes with some. I think it comes with one of those games. I don't remember. I don't know. He can probably tell us more, but
right.
yeah, that was kind of neat. Just kind of gives you the result, really quick to simulate the rest of the games of the league. No,
Dwayne
I
says
I
a fast
go
score. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There we go.
yeah I go to the calendar on Digital Diamond and I just play one game at a time. I just go click on play ball and finish that
Yeah,
game, and then next one I just click, and I usually alternate between American and National League, and
right.
then you
And
know
Pocket
it's
Pennant
just
Run has that same thing, by the way, where you
yeah.
can, right, you can
Yep.
play out an as played game, bam, and it just does it. So
Yep.
Yeah. Let me catch up. Let's
So it's
catch up a
awesome.
little bit here. Yeah, man. It's so good to hear your voice. It's been a while, Mike. It's been a
I
while.
know.
And I'll tell you what, I'm still not letting you off the hook. We're gonna play a head-to-head action PC some night. We're going to because it's just a
Good.
blast.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I'm sure.
so Bernie, now, here's something I want to clear up for you guys. So Bernie says the Digital Diamond just did got their first dead ball season 1919. So here's the thing that the Steam write up isn't like it could have been better. You could always do seasons in Digital Diamond before 1927. The thing is you didn't get like as played lineups or anything like that. But using the Sean Lahman database, which is the database that Mark uses, that a lot of games use, you could go back and do 1879 if you wanted to. But I see where you're coming from, Bernie. But reading the description on Steam, Mark
Yeah,
should, because there is a little blurb. It says, or recreate any season in baseball history. Well, you always could do that in Digital Diamond,
yeah,
but the thing is, then you're going to have to go on to Retro Sheet and all that stuff to and I don't know whether I never play as played like schedules like or as
yeah,
played lineups. I like what ifs. So for me to do all that work is kind of pointless.
yeah,
But yeah, so that is there. If you don't mind not playing as played schedules, you can and season creation in Digital Diamond Baseball is super easy. In fact, for version 7, I wrote a guide. I wrote a Steam guide for that entire game back on version 7, which now is obsolete, obviously. But I like the game. I used to play it just as a digital game, but this is just a stroke of genius. It
yeah.
really is. I know the purists are probably like, meh, 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 you know. I know
Well,
Baseball Reference has them back to 1908, but the thing is, Clinton is, and I mean, Mike, well, I'll just, you're the only one on the mic right now. Would you go into Baseball Reference? Because I know you're saying you're getting an interest in dead ball baseball, but would you go so far in Baseball Reference and like actually do all of that stuff for like every team? Let's say you were replaying the greatest season in baseball history, 1908. All right. Would you actually go in and put all that work in or not? Because you can create the season, but I'm talking about making the lineups and everything like that and the schedules. Would you do that if you're
you
still there?
asking me?
Yes, I am. You're the only mic here.
Oh, I don't
You
know if
need
I
another
would.
Guinness too, man.
Yeah, I know. I should probably go up and get myself a Makers on the rocks and just relax.
You should. That's
Um,
what baseball's about. I can carry the channel till you come back. It's all good.
so
Yeah.
what was the? I thought you were talking on to the people in the chat, but um, so I don't know if I would want to do all that if it wasn't already there. You know what I mean? Like that's a lot of work
Sure.
to
Yeah.
figure out.
And that's the thing. So
I think,
yeah.
yeah, I think what Bernie was talking about was there was just a post yesterday from a release from on the Digital Diamond website just about
Right.
how the 1919 season library is now available. It's like someone, this guy Joe Costas, created the whole thing like with all the full platoon splits and blah 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 and all
Oh
these. There's a
yeah.
write up about it.
That
And
guy's a
also, it's funny.
beast.
I also want to mention that, sorry, Beals, but I just
No,
wanted to
it's fine.
mention that he also included park images from all my OOTP parks
I
for that
saw
year.
that, and but he did credit you, which is good.
Oh no, no, I know.
You know.
I'm flattered by it. You know, it's funny.
Oh yeah,
So
your
that's
your
great.
your your ballparks are everywhere except in the game I have up. I'm just gonna be clicking go while you and I are talking. So this is all time great Cincinnati Reds versus the Cubs. I was gonna do the Red Sox game, but it was versus the Diamondbacks, and I really don't care. So about the Diamondbacks, I know they're winning the last time I checked the score. Here we are, a bunch of baseball fans in here, and I haven't seen in Bernie's broadcast and in this one I haven't seen one word about the World Series, which started tonight. So news. The World Series started tonight.
I know, really.
Oh my God. So what else are you doing? What are you doing in the hockey thing, man? What do you? Because hockey's your game. I know it's your main game. What were you doing? Any like hockey replays? Do you do those?
Well, like I said, I think I told you before. I got Action PC Hockey like I think maybe beginning of the summer. But I mean, I
Okay.
honestly I've just been grinding away at baseball. I mean, for some reason I thought for sure I'd want to take a break but I haven't gotten to that point yet with baseball. So every kind of moment I have, I'm usually just trying to roll a few games in baseball, trying to keep grinding away at that season. And then, but yeah, I did start a hockey 19, what was the season? Oh, it was 94, 93, 94 on the Action PC. So I started doing every game on that season.
So not just
And
the Bruins.
no, no, well, I play out. That one I kind of quickly go through the game and let it play itself out. I
Okay.
mean, at least that's how I'm not like in baseball, but this is more like I might sim a period here, 2 periods in a game, just try to get the results. But I try to get the lineups, at least the starting rosters that they used. Like, I can get that from Hockey Reference. So I've been
Okay.
doing that, and that takes a little while. It's a little manual work, but yeah. But I haven't touched that in about a few months, though. I mean, I kind of stopped it in a little, so I might get back to that at some point this soon with the Bruins starting and everything.
Our
But
Red
it's
Sox fan is thanking you for the ballparks.
all right,
And
no,
Bernie,
no
if you
problem.
have, if you bought Out of the Park, when you download that stadium mod, you'll have a Griffith Stadium. So you just
Yeah,
have to install the stadium mod. Mike did every park from 1901 to present, and I mean every park, like every major league park, and he did some 19th century parks. It's worth the download, man. And Mike knows. I told him many times here, such a geek. The beginning of every season, I'm like, okay, Out of the Park's out, and I would. I'm serious. I needed intervention, guys. I'd be like checking the Out of the Park boards every day. It's like at Mike's Stadium and Uniform mod. It's two different mods. Are they up yet? Are they up yet? Are they up yet? It's like, damn it. And Mike could be like, oh, a couple more weeks, guys. And I'm like, damn it. Because,
yeah,
and they're
yeah.
fantastic. And everybody in the community and elsewhere, I think I see your ballparks more yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I've seen
Yeah.
people use them in Action PC, actually.
Well, hey, Beatles, the reason why I found your channel is I happened to just see one of your videos pop up, and it happened. I saw my one of my pocs on the picture of it or whatever it
Oh,
was,
nice, nice.
and that's why I kind of and I just kind of joined in. I was like, hey, thanks for using my pocs, and that's how I started. That's how I joined this whole channel right here. It's how I joined the community basically. I
So
was like, oh,
you
thanks. I'm flattered by it. I was like, oh, you're using the pocs. That's great. You know.
You mentioned in Bernie's broadcast earlier tonight that you've gotten a lot more interested in Deadball. I know you talked
Yeah.
about the nicknames. What about the game itself? What do you find about Deadball that's compelling as opposed to quote unquote modern baseball? Just
Well,
curious.
I'm actually more. I like the historical part of it. I like just the fact like what the history, like, what the country was going through during that time, and
Mm-hmm.
that actually, and just like the playing, like how they, I don't know, I'm more interested in that kind of thing. Like the players, obviously the stories you tell are amazing, because like you hear the stories. I was born in 1887 or whatever, and
Right.
you know through the the World War I or whatever it is. You know what I mean? It's just like all the stuff that they had to do, and all the stories are amazing. That's kind of what it is, and then I really want to learn more about the players. And so I think once I have a little more time, I might start something in 1901 again in OTP or something, and just start to go through
Love it.
that, and and I was thinking, I mentioned it today too, as well as maybe I might try to throw my hat in the ring for streaming at some point,
I
maybe,
think you
give
should.
it a shot, you
Why
know?
not? I think you should.
Yeah,
So the funny thing, one of the big ironies, right, these days, right, is there all these rules to speed up the game of baseball and blah 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 blah, and yet the average dead ball was faster. It was riskier. It
yeah,
has all the things that fans want, and it's kind of
yep,
funny, you know.
yep,
What is the guy's name? Brian? Is it Brian Kennedy or somebody? He's with MLB Network. And it was a few years ago.
hmm,
D. Scott Howard, who's a member of the community, had sent me this video, and he was talking about maybe we should return to dead ball, and he was not being facetious.
yep,
Showing a stat comparison and everything like that. And I'm seeing not only in our community, but just in a lot of other baseball communities to which I belong, that there is a resurgence in of interest in baseball from the first 20 years of the 20th century, which makes me
mm,
really happy.
yep,
Because I think it was, I'm probably going to take some flack for this. In a way, I think it was a better game. Better, I would say, like baseball up through the 70s, 80s. I mean, because the 70s was a great decade in baseball.
yep,
But like baseball now, I mean, I still love it, but again, the World Series is on, and I'm not
Yeah.
watching it this year. I'm just, and it's not. It's partially because of the teams. I don't care about the Diamondback. The only reason I want the Rangers to win is they've never won a World Series,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't care if the Phillies are in it. I'd probably watch
Yeah.
it because they're an old franchise, and I'd like to see them, because they choked last year. Sorry, Ken, but they did. Um, but I'm just curious, when people get into, for Bernie, it's, he said that, for him, it was because it is such a different game. You have to think differently in dead ball, or you're going to get killed.
Yeah.
If you wait for
Yep.
that home run, in the meantime, that team's going to be double stealing and sacrificing, and sacrificing
Yep.
with their number four hitter. And I love that. I've always loved that. You know,
You know what I was wondering
what's
about
that?
dead ball, and which I haven't really found. Maybe you know. But I mean, I would imagine that the stealing of home must have happened a lot more frequently, right?
It did.
I mean, I was wondering, like, because they never do it now, but
No.
I'm wondering how frequently they stole home during dead ball.
Um,
If
I don't have the exact number, but it was
oh
far more frequent. But here's an interesting thing for you. Do you know? So again, if we look at it from a scholarly perspective, modern baseball began in 1893. But for sake of this discussion,
mm,
we'll differentiate dead ball and modern baseball. All right. Lou Gehrig actually was a guy who stole home quite a bit. He was a very, very aggressive runner. I'm not sure if you knew
oh
that
yeah,
or not. And purely 1920.
no,
So the 1920s were a fun decade because you have this with Babe Ruth, right? Who I think in 1920
yeah,
and 1921 like hit more home runs than every other team put
mm,
together, right? Or any other team
yeah,
in the majors, whatever, right? And but you still had a lot of dead ball tactics in the 1920s, which is why when I do come back and there will be Rangers win game one, okay. There will be a McGreevy. It is coming. Whatever I decide to do with this channel, this is a promise I'm going to make to cousin Ken Castro. McGreevy 2 will happen. Even if I say at this, then that'll be all. I'm shutting down the channel. I'm coming back with that. And I'd thought about bringing in the 1920s because you still had, especially in the early 20s, right before the advent of Jimmy Fox and Al Simmons and a lot of those, the sluggers. Um,
yep,
because Babe Ruth was the only slugger for the first couple years in the 1920s, right?
yep,
Is it would have been fun to have that nice mix of power and speed because speed was still valued in the 20s and
yep.
30s. You start getting into the 40s, and then especially the 50s is like kind of like, if you got a stolen base, it was pretty rare. But I'm going to have to look up that stat for you for steals of
Yeah, I
home.
was curious.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I would just imagine that that was the case. But something you mentioned the '70s and the
Ken's
'80s, like
pissed already. He says, is getting to game six of the world. Well, so Ken, and you should know this. I'm sorry, Mike. Hold your thought for a
oh, no
second.
problem.
So, Ken, in the 144-year history of the Philadelphia Phillies, uh, Game 7 of this year's NLCS was the first time they ever made it to a deciding Game 7 in a postseason. So, yeah. They couldn't get past Game 6, dude. Come on. Cousin, I love you, but come on. The Phillies should have won that World Series last year. You guys should have won that World Series. I'm not picking on your Phils, dude, but come on. Come
I don't
on.
know,
The
man.
Astros, now the 23 season might satisfy your characterization, he says. All right, so we're still friends, cousin, right? Nah, I
Don't
don't
go
know.
eat.
Houston was
Don't
better.
don't. I wouldn't anger a Philadelphia Phillies fan.
Oh,
That's all
I
I'm
know,
saying.
right? Because they know all these guys named Mario and Louis and Anthony and, you know, the New York wannabes.
Vincenzo.
Vincenzo. Jeez, man. Are you
Yeah,
uh
they're
are
gonna show
you
up.
are you playing any digital baseball? Or are
Me?
you yeah, are you just strictly cards and dice now?
Oh no, like I said, I use Action PC here and there. I
Here
sprinkle
and
that
there.
in on in my season, so I'll just
Right.
kind of I'll follow along in Action PC. I'll sim out, come out to wherever I am on the every whenever I decide to use it, and I
Right.
just play the actual a few games or a few game days. Like I'm doing that today. Today I was actually playing out Action PC for a little bit. Um,
Okay.
that's
I,
pretty
I
much it.
guess I meant just like strictly because I knew you had told me about you were using Action PC, but I thought if you were just doing any strictly like I know out of the park baseball, you're probably I know you love the game, you're a beta tester, but you
And
got to be kind of sick of it too in one way because you
no,
do
I'm
so
not
much
sick of
work in
it.
it or not sick. I don't know if sick
No,
of
I
it
mean
is right, but is it fatigue or could it be fatigue or something? Because you do a lot of
no,
work in that game.
Well, you know what it is? Actually, I miss it a little bit because I
Do you
haven't really
really?
been using it. But no, but it's because the thing is like I never really used it that much. Honestly, in the last, I think I said this before too, but I think in the last 5, 6 years,
Mm-hmm.
I've really done nothing but work on the stadiums and graphics and stuff. I really didn't play much of it. Like I'm always just updating the graphics and whatever and testing it out, testing the games out. So last year I started this earlier this year I really started to use it more, like
Mm-hmm.
going through and simming out seasons and stuff and actually using it that way. And then I got into cards and dice, and I just kind of went to that more, pretty much 100% for now. But I really plan on going back to it eventually.
Oh, that's
Um,
good. And I
yep,
do hope that you're really considering. With Cubs coming back in this little game here, I hope you'll consider actually doing some broadcasting. It's really fun. It's really fun,
yeah.
and
Oh,
with this bunch of ne'er do wells here, you've got a ready made community, man.
well, like I like this format. Like I like just even chatting. Like I might even if that's what I do. Like I'd like to just have some of the guys. I like that time we had. I think Dwayne and you and myself.
Oh
That was
yeah,
fun. Like just having. I'd love to have people just join in. Like yeah, I was hoping on Discord. Like someone. I'd like to just grab a group chat. Like we don't have to do a stream.
hmm
Just if we wanted to talk sometime, just have a big group
oh, we
like
can do that.
discussion on
Yeah,
stuff.
do that too off of here. And if anybody wants to join, even now tonight, Dwayne,
Yeah.
Dwayne, haven't heard the dulcet tones of your voice. I heard you just as I was leaving work. I caught like 2 or 3 innings of your game today, but I didn't want to say, "Hey, what's up?" and then have to leave. So I did drop a like, dude. But if you want to join in, man. It's
Yeah.
fun. Um,
I'm really enjoying Dwayne's stream too. I like
oh, right.
his I really like it. I really like his I mean I've just listened the more you listen the more you like enjoy and like what they how they describe things and stuff. He does a good job.
He does.
So
I like Dwayne's stuff. I like everybody that broadcasts on
yeah,
here. I mean, they're
everybody.
good. But so Dwayne, I like his approach because he's kind of talking to us and so it
Yes.
kind of draws you in. I really like that. And Bernie, I've said this before for Bernie. I feel like I could be sitting at Fenway Park and
Yep.
Bernie's talking to me about the baseball game. All right, we're gonna get Dwayne in. So I
Oh,
usually
nice.
screw this up, Mike. So
So what are you
if
gonna
it
do?
drops
Start
out,
up a
we'll
new
get you
chat,
back
or are you
on.
gonna just?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, we can keep talking, and then you'll drop out, and then we'll get you again as soon as I find Dwayne Martz. Where are you, Dwayne? There he is. All right, let's see. Let me see if I can get Dwayne up here. Da 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 da. Let me see, man. Just gonna put hey so I can get that thing up and try to get him in on this call. All right, here we go. It's gonna be a short dropout, and then we'll get these guys back.
Yep.
Everybody. All right. So Mike will have to join in again. Dwayne.
Hey, what's up, guy?
All right, man. Now we'll wait for Mike. He's out there in the ether somewhere. So I think he has to
No
join
echo,
this
right?
call.
Beatles, I turned off the volume for YouTube. Make sure we don't get the echo.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's why I have Digital Diamond running here because there's no sound. But it is 5-3
Right.
Reds over the Cubs. So Mike, where are you? Mike, where are you? So how you been doing, man?
I'm good. Getting ready for that surgery. Ain't looking forward to that, Beatles. But other than that, good.
Oh, that's the eye surgery, right?
Yeah, getting getting those cataracts taken care of.
Oh man. So when's
It
that?
scares me. I ain't gonna lie. I
Oh, I
like being able to
guess.
see.
Is that that's a laser surgery, right?
I had to pay an extra $3,000 to get it done laser.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
if I just did with insurance, they actually use the old scalpel still. Yep.
Oh god. So you're doing the
Yeah.
laser, yeah, right? I don't,
Yeah, I
because I'm
spent
like,
extra 3,000.
you're gonna put any damn knife near my eye, you son of a bitch.
No, I don't. That's why I don't wear contacts, Beetle. I don't even want a contact near my
I hear ya. I hear ya. I get. I go. How am I gonna get? How do we get Mike back? Mike is like, how do we get Mike back? Can I get him on this damn call? All right. If I get Mike, then Mike, if you can hear, call me. No, but so Discord sucks for this, doesn't it? Like trying to get a bunch of people in here.
I can never
So
figure it out. I get one person, like you're saying, then I disconnect the other one.
yeah, that's exactly what happened. He says, "Good thing
Yeah.
he's not holding his breath." Typical New Englander. See that? Giving me
Yeah,
shit.
I see that now.
Yeah, some people's kids. I'm telling you. All right, let me now. And if I get him, I'm gonna lose you. I'm gonna try this though. Madonna mannaggia mamma mia. It's gonna get me started swearing in Italian. All right, let's try this. I just lost. See, so
Yeah.
Mike, yeah, but
Right.
now we have to figure out how to get Dwayne back. Cause I'm like, oh my
Well,
God.
we already have one. I already see. We already have it from before. We have like our own little group on
Yeah. Well, we have Steve, we have
Is Steve going to be joining too?
no,
Yeah.
no,
Oh
no, no, no,
no.
no, no, no. I haven't seen
There's
Steve
one
in
with Dwayne,
ages.
Mark, Beatles, and you. I
Yeah,
mean,
well,
and me.
we'll see if Dwayne will call. Let me see. Just this is a Mongolian cluster. Anyhow,
That's okay.
yeah, Ken's having a good laugh there. So let me see if he can. How do we get him to join the call? Discord. Damn it. Discord's probably not built for this. I don't know. Let me see. Add friends to DM. Is this it? Is this how I do it? Am I being an Aegis? Let me see.
We just found the
Uh,
soundboard. Do you know they have a
create group.
soundboard on this?
Ah, there we go. Hey, hey, are you both here?
Not a,
Yep. There he
Oh,
is.
you
there we
figured it out.
go. All
Good
right.
job,
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I
What's
only have
up,
a
Dwayne?
master's degree. Dwayne,
Mike.
what's up, man? Talk about your project because everyone's loving it.
Oh, man, I'm coming down to the home stretch and off until December 12th, so I'm hoping to get done around January, Beatles. That'd be awesome.
January.
Yeah.
So,
Started in April 1st, April Fool's Day, so
Oh,
yeah.
damn. So Braves Yankees. What the Braves? I mean, so the Braves Yankees make it into your World Series. You're gonna have a conflict of interest, my friend. We've talked about this
Oh,
before.
exactly. I don't think the Braves are going to make it. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be the stinking Giants. I think they're
The
going to
stinking
take us.
Giants.
The stinking Giants. I never was a Giant fan. Yeah, I think they're going to take us. They got a hell of a lineup too, and I just don't think the Braves pitching. That Carl Wiley for me is pitching out of his mind, and if he keeps it up, I guess we'll do it. But I thought it was just going to be Lou Burdette and Spawn, and then I was going to have to pray for rain, like they used to say with Spawn and Zane. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
that's great.
But that's. I was talking to Ken. That's the thing I like about the Braves is doing the Yankees. Anything I can do with the Yankees is screw them up. The Braves finished third or fourth in 61, so I'm pretty much guaranteed to at least do that. You know what I'm saying? But the Yankees, anything I can do is lose to the Tigers or the Orioles and look like a bum. Yeah, have Ralph call me up on the hotline and say, "How in the hell did you mess a team like that up?"
How are the M&M boys doing home run wise
Home
right
run
now in your
wise, they're
replay?
doing good, but Maris has actually started hitting better than Mick.
Okay,
Mick's the average is below 300 now,
below
and Rogers
300.
got his average up about 260, about where it's supposed to. But the
Wow.
the MVP of I still say I say it almost every game now. Moose Scourin is my MVP.
Scouring
That
was
man
tough,
comes up with
man.
more big hits
Yep.
than anybody on the team. They walk Mick. Mick strikes out and bang, he gets a double or a home run and drives. He's got 106, 111 RBIs.
Hmm.
Moose
Wow.
does. Now I moved him up in the lineup, Beatles. So it's not the same spot in the lineup that he
Hmm.
batted. That's one of the few changes because I didn't like they. If that left-handed pitcher was pitching, you had Quebec. I'm right-handed pitcher rather. You had Quebec, Maris, Mano, Bear, or Blanchard in a row. So I always move Scouring up and put Scouring in between either Bear or Blanchard with Mick.
I love when you announce Scouring too. So here comes the moose. I love
Moose.
that,
Oh,
man.
no.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
He's like coming. I was a Mick fan, but he's become my favorite player just by playing this season. I mean, and that's one thing I love about this hobby too. And doing the whole season, you can really get into a
Yep.
player, man.
Yep.
Oh, you
Yeah.
can. So you guys both. I mean, this is a question I ask of everybody, but it's nice to get an answer sort of on Mike. How if you each kind of give your opinions as just quickly though. Clinton says that Scourin has been clutch in more than one of his leagues. So
Oh,
for you
exactly,
guys,
Tom.
how do you feel as far as these games in terms of helping you learn more about baseball, its history, the players? Or do you
Well,
guys think
just like
they're
I said, no,
valuable?
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's one reason I was only going to do the Yankees
Mm-hmm.
online and play
Right.
the Braves just by myself.
Hmm.
But then I thought, well, then nobody on the channel is going to get to see the National League players
Yeah.
in 61. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why I like, even though it's taken me twice as long, that's what I like. I get to play every team and darn near every player. Because especially in a 61 or even up until the 20s here lately, you played in a team enough that you was going to get to see almost every pitcher on the staff. Almost every decent player was going to have to play against you sometime. You wasn't just going to get the 9 guys for 3 games and never see the team again, you know? So you get to see everybody.
So so you guys, Mike and Dwayne, you guys are both playing seasons with which you're very familiar. Okay.
Hmm.
But with that said, in your replay, who has been, but I don't care who, answers or whatever. So I know you guys didn't know this was going to be like 60 minutes, but there you are. So who has been both the like the like a big surprise for you in terms of positively, who's playing better than you expected, and who's absolutely stinking up the joint? Whoever wants to take that, both of you, like in your
Well,
replays thus
mine, like I
far.
say, is Moose. And
Yeah.
then my biggest disappointment is Johnny Blanchard.
Okay.
When he's in the lineup, he's hitting like 200 and something.
What Blanchard hit that year in real? I mean,
Hold
real.
on, I got the card out right now, Beatles. I think he hit like almost 300, 305. Yeah, and he's
Jeez.
hitting like 220. Now his power's about right,
Mm-hmm.
but he ain't hitting. Yep.
What about you, Mike?
And again,
Yeah.
it could be I moved him down in the lineup a lot. He's not batting behind Mick. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
that that's part of it. I take some responsibility that I'm not playing. I'm playing as played games that the players that played that game, but I'm using my judgment of where I'm putting them in the lineup and how long I keep them in the game and all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mike, what
Go
about
ahead,
you?
Mike. What about you?
For me, it's pretty easy. I mean, I play every game, so but I mean, so there's a lot of players. I'm like, how come this guy's not doing as good? Like Eric Davis on the Reds,
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
he
really?
like he's starting to come on now, but like he was barely hitting 200 for a while.
And you're
I
almost
couldn't
halfway,
understand.
right?
Yeah, he's up to like 247 though, and he's starting to hit some dingers. Um, and then obviously from the good side, like funny enough, it's from the Marty Barrett on the Red Sox. He's leading the league in batting. He's batting 350.
Marty Barrett
Uh,
is hitting
yeah,
350.
Barrett's at 350. Wade Boggs is at 349. And somehow the Red
Damn.
Sox, yeah,
Marty Barrett wishes, huh?
yeah, and the
Jeez.
Red Sox are in second to last place. Go figure.
Wow. So
Yeah,
what's letting you
Clemens.
down, man? Is it your pitching? What's going on?
Well, yeah, Clemens, like every game he plays, he strikes out like 10, 11 guys, but then he gives up like 2 or 3 home runs, and then the Red Sox don't get any offense for him. So
No run
he's like,
support.
I think he's 9-8 right now, and he's got a 2.04 ERA, which is pretty good in that league. Mike Scott is like unbelievable. He's
Oh
like
yeah.
My
he's
God.
like 17-3, or and he's got like a
Yeah.
.99 ERA. Like he's like it must be the card or something because he's like almost unhittable. Like if you look at his card, you're like, how do you even lose a game?
He was a tough
Well,
pitcher.
he was tough, though.
Oh my
Yeah.
Sure.
God.
Yeah, no, he
That
had that
year.
one good year. 86 was like
Yeah,
his
Yep.
that
best
year
year.
he
After that,
was
he never
tough.
was the same.
Yeah.
But
Now, are
yeah,
you inputting your Action PC results in the Digital Diamond?
yes, I am.
Oh,
Isn't
that
that
is
funny?
so cool. That is so cool.
And so Action
Love it.
PC's got its own stats, which I like. I like the stat
Right.
package they have, but because I want to keep everything in centralized, I have
Right.
Action PC open on one monitor and I have Digital Diamond on my other monitor, and I'm just like flipping
That's
back and forth.
awesome.
Okay,
You got to broadcast that. That'd be so awesome to
I
see.
don't know how to broad. Can you broadcast more than one monitor? I don't know.
Yeah, you can.
If you
You
set
can.
up like two different, especially on a, I don't use it much, that OPS or OBS.
OBS.
You can
Yep. You can
definitely
do it
do
in
it there.
OBS.
Even
Oh,
in
okay.
Stream you can, but it's a lot easier.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you.
Yeah,
I'll
it'd
tell
be
you
so cool.
with the stats. I think I've mentioned this before. Is that I notice when I'm doing that, and like at the end of the game, when I see both box scores and I see what how many home runs a guy has versus my digital diamond, like I'll tell you, it's kind of funny how many plays have almost the same stats from the simulated action PC season. Mostly, I would say 98% simulated to what I
Both
have of
engines
digital
then.
diamond. It's almost the same. Like a lot of times, the home runs are almost equal for most players. Like the strike wins for pitchers almost have the same identical records.
It's
Like
good.
it's kind of crazy, yeah. But and as far
Yeah.
as the stats go, in I was noticing your stream, Dwayne. I was I kind of zoomed in on the plays because I like to see what they're on pace if they're on pace to hit what they got on this in the real life. It looks like a lot of the same thing from you. Like I noticed like it looks like a lot of the plays are on pace to get close to where they were in real life and yours too.
Oh,
So it looks like
exactly.
your sim's pretty good, you know.
Yeah, and you all was talking literally about the game engine with Digital Diamond. You got, like I say, there's only 19 games in the American League and 22 in the National League that the other teams are getting played by APA. And
Yeah,
Digital Diamond's doing a heck of a job with
yeah, it
it.
looks like it.
I'm
I noticed
impressed with
that.
the engine itself. Just if I would ever want to just play that engine, I
It
mean, but
is
I got
good.
it because I was an APA fan, and I'm thinking, man, I wish they had this in the '80s to keep my stats instead of writing everything in a notebook and getting a calculator out.
Oh yeah.
Man, I am
I mean,
thankful when I was in college that like I mean because cards and dice. I mean I would spend like hours with friends of mine and I in the student union playing. But if stuff like Digital Diamond was around and all that stuff, because I mean I did my undergraduate work. I don't know when Action PC came out because I got my master's in 2013. I took some time off and then did my master's. I would have flunked out of college. I'm telling you. There's just
I,
like I would have been
I
like
hear you.
I've been like I don't need this bullshit. I'm gonna go play some baseball on the computer. Oh my god.
oh yeah,
So
oh
Bernie
yeah.
says that he has never had a successful 1986 replay, Red Sox replay. And Todd B
Mine's
says that
not going
Mike
to be
Scott
Most
was
successful,
people
so
a,
say
that's okay.
that.
supposed scuffballer. I've heard about Mike Scott that he would tend to do interesting physics experiments on baseballs. But he was like you said, he had that one great year, and then yeah,
Yeah,
And
I mean,
Ken
I had my
Castro,
All Star
same
game.
thing
I
with the
had my All Star
'69
game.
Mets,
Oh,
a
sorry.
difficult team. And what I think it is those years, everything went right for that team in real life, so the stats don't bear it out. They won the 3-2 game. They won the 10-9 game. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
then when you try to do that in a
hey
cards
legends,
and dice or even a computer, I think it's hard for everything to fall right. So then they end up becoming a 500 team, because they don't win those close games.
Yep,
love to get legends on to talk
I
to
know.
everybody too, because I'd like to. I mean, not only his awesome franchise Stars Baseball League that he's doing, but kind of talking about some things because he did a lot of stuff in out of the park baseball prior to that, and
Yep.
just getting his. So legends, if you're on the Discord, man, if you feel like coming on mic for a little bit. I know your son's home, but maybe another night. I'm not officially back, but when somebody says, "Hey, let's talk baseball," then it's like, yeah, I'm all in. So
Yeah, it's
we get
definitely.
you on tonight or get you. I know your son's home from college, or maybe there's a night you want to come on after he goes back to school and everything. Love to get your perspective. Your long time, Al. I'd love to have you on here too. You're still here, and if Nurse Teresa's sleeping, come on, man, talk to us. Because Al Red Sox fan plays everything out there. He does,
Yeah.
and
Mike, how did you get in that out of the park?
What's that?
How did you get
all right,
involved in
thanks,
out of the park?
legends.
Did they ask you, or did you just do it on your own?
What as far as getting into like the beta
The
and stuff?
stadium creations and all?
Oh, that. Yeah, I just I just played it. I played it from like version 3. And I just started. I was basically just doing fictional stuff, and mostly, I first started with playing like regular, like current season stuff. And I realized it was just so much work to try to get all the players and the rosters and everything. So then I started doing fictional. I was really liking that. And they ended up starting to do the 3D, which is like I think it was like 2015 or somewhere around there.
With the little
And
puns.
yeah, well, yeah, that was and basically I was like, yeah, well, okay, you can make your own stages. Like, oh, I had no idea how to do 3D at all. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
well, let me just play around with it and see what happens. I started making a few fictional stadiums. I was like, all right, yeah, that works good. Then I was like, you know what? Like, there's always a huge historical crowd, and I was never really a historical player.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was like, I wouldn't mind making Fenway Park and making, I like that stuff. So I was like, well, let me try to do that. And then I started doing a few, and then it just became a big, huge hobby. And then I just got better and better at it, obviously, as you do it more. And my first stadiums weren't anything great. So, but yeah, now I haven't done it in a while. I'm kind of itching to get back into that too, but there's only so many hours in the day.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'll tell you
It's
what
like
though.
Bernie was saying with that Griffith Stadium. That's the Griffith Stadium I used. forever until I got you out of the park and got your stadiums.
Yep.
And then I'm like, man, look at this. This is cool, man.
That was cool. I'll tell you, that was such a cool time for me because like I was like researching the stadiums, researching like everything, trying to find every possible angle for pictures online. It was really cool. I mean, it was great work to do. It was just fun, because you learn a lot about every stadium. Then you start reading articles about it, and it's just a really cool time to do that because I learned so much. That Griffith Stadium, like behind that huge wall. Like the reason why it's shaped like that is because they have like there's like a neighborhood like right behind. Those houses right in that little like there's like a L shape or whatever, or there's like houses right behind there that they wouldn't sell. So
Getting some
it's
love
just
here
funny,
from Legends. He's saying Silva's
Yeah.
stuff is pure class, and I don't think anybody in this chat in this community would disagree with that assessment. And the only thing I would add is if you want to learn Google SketchUp, Mike's series of videos, and again, look up on his channel. He
Yes.
forgot he had a channel, by the way. It was funny. Um, it's a master class. When
Yeah,
you come out of
that was
that,
like
it was brilliant,
I
man.
don't even know
Brilliant.
what that wasn't like. That was obviously I'm not a professional video person or a broadcaster,
Hmm.
and that was just something I think someone mentioned. I was like, hey, what the hell? I'll try to build one, and just see if that helps. Like get, and I think I made like 3 or 4 of them until I finished it. And I was thinking, maybe if I start a broadcast myself, maybe I'll do that again. Maybe I'll just kind of. I was thinking, maybe one of my subject matter could be just going through the ones I've already created, like on SketchUp, and just showing, maybe even just going through, maybe you guys could throw some suggestions on improvements or something. I don't know. We could just,
Brilliant work. Legend says
yeah.
he says that he watched your tutorial for 15 minutes and his brain melted.
Oh, come on, it's not that bad. Like I said, once you get used to it, it's not a whole, it's not like using, I tried using, that's how I felt when I tried using, Blender,
Oh,
I was
oh,
like, oh boy,
it's a
it's not
different
gonna,
Blender's a different beast.
yeah.
But you know what? You've done such great work. I mean, and you've seen some of the stuff I do in Blender, not
Oh yeah,
baseball
it's
related,
amazing.
but yeah. So like, but I'm like, why reinvent the wheel? Because your ballparks and so I'm a graphic artist. Your ballparks are amazing, and I'm like, why would I
Yep.
even want to like? Why would I do this? Mike's done this, and they look great. You know.
I'd love it. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I mean, I hope I feel like if people wanted to do it, if they really wanted to do a park, they would do it, right? So, I mean, but
Yeah.
yeah, I understand because when someone does other parks, I'm like, oh, I'm not touching that one now,
Mike,
like,
would you mind talking a little bit? So the other mod that you did doesn't get as much
oh, the
press, and it
uniforms.
should. Yeah, would you mind talking a little bit about that and that
Oh,
process? Because
yeah.
that's a lot of work.
That's actually what I first started doing way back when OTP was just like, the very basic stuff. I really got into graphics, just doing logos, team logos. And then I started doing, when they first introduced the face gen with the uniforms, I started messing around with the templates that they had. And that's kind of where I started. So, for some reason, when I did all the historical parks and everything, and I think I finished all those, and I was like, hey, you know what? I noticed that the uniforms for the historical kind of could have used they were so old, they were done way back when Face Gen was first introduced. I was like, maybe
Hmm.
these could use a refresh. Let me try it out. So I used some of the templates that were given, and I just started to redo all the uniforms from 1901 to basically the same time period I did all the stadiums. And then of course, it just becomes like an obsession, and then you want to get every little detail right as much as possible. And then they introduced third jerseys and the names and numbers on the back, and every year was just like going over whatever how many jerseys there were from historically, redoing them again and again every year.
Hmm.
Um, so, but it's a great, if you're historic from a history standpoint, that's just a great learning thing. For me, it was a great learning going through learning about every uniform, like every detail about it, and like like the Brooklyn Dodgers had these satin uniforms at a certain point. I don't know if
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell are these things? People wore these things. They're like shiny. I don't know if you
Now,
know what I'm talking about.
here's the challenge, and it's not built into the game. But what year was it that Bill Veck tried to have the White Sox wear like
Oh,
knickers,
the
like
the shorts,
the
the
shorts?
shorts.
The shorts. Could you
Yeah,
imagine? Could you imagine that?
it was the 70s. It was
Was
the
it the
70s.
70s?
And they had the butterfly collars too.
Yes,
Yes.
right. Oh my God.
It was
Vec
the
was a
70, I don't know the
madman.
exact, I think it was 76 or 70. I'd like to know that. Somebody knows that. I can look it up right now, probably.
Clinton probably knows it. He's probably
I still
knows
have
it.
my links on my big bookmarks from all the history.
What was the
Um,
first year with numbers?
all they were kind of sprinkled in. I think the 22 or 23 was like maybe one or two teams had them, and then the 20s more teams started to sprinkle them in.
Clinton
And
says
then I think the 30s
76
almost
and
everybody
Ken.
had them.
So
What's
our
that?
baseball encyclopedia is here. Ken and Clinton both said 1976.
76. Okay, yeah.
Their
That's the year I was
Legend
born.
says
My
they're
birth
not in the
year.
show, so he can't have them wear them in the franchise baseball league. I just think it would be hilarious to have them in the show or out of the park baseball. I mean, they were really god awful. I saw pictures of them. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But the Reds, I mean, the White Sox, they're interesting stuff. I mean, the exploding scoreboards. But so the uniform mod, I mean, that was some pretty,
Yep.
because you're down to the fonts and everything, which, as we talked about before, right? So when you're doing like a World Series or whatever in out of the park baseball, the game's not reading those XML files properly.
Yep.
But for doing a season replay, because I remember when I was doing a World Series, you're like, oh damn, it's still using the Reds font, and it didn't even dawn on me, right? But then playing some seasons offline, I'm noticing like, oh my god, that's what the Pirates wore, in 1908. Or I mean, so
Yep.
what about that research process, Mike? I
Well,
mean,
that was
that's
actually like I think I mentioned this before. So there was a few other people that helped me with this project. It wasn't just me.
okay.
There's no pep. I go by their. I only know them really mostly by their names on the board on OTP.
Mm-hmm.
His name is No Pepper. There was another guy, Texas Ranger. So there was a couple, but the No Pepper is the one. He basically he helped me with the 1901, all the dead ball era stuff. He kind of took that under his wing and did mostly everything up until about 1920. So I can't take credit for those. But I basically put everything together, at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so he was great. I mean, he created a lot of those the old uniform looking stuff. In fact, I think he ended up doing he's working on a whole Negro League
Oh
thing, a historical
wow.
Negro League. He
Oh my
if you go on
god.
the forum, he's on there. I don't know how much progress he's made, but I think he even started doing some 19th century uniforms as well. Those are pretty wild.
Oh
They got the
yeah.
they got the buttons, the big thing that flap,
Yep.
that goes in the front, and they got the letter right in the middle of the uniform. So if you go on that forum and you look in the mod section and you'll see what he's doing. He does some amazing work. So I just want to give him credit for that. Um,
You guys are
so
gonna hear a ding. This game's over. Tough game. All-time Reds beat the all-time Cubs 8-7. It was a slobber knocker, as Al would say.
Yes,
20,
it was.
24 hits in this game, 15
well, that's
runs.
No errors.
2017. Okay.
Yeah, well, it's just that's the number that was just put in there. But it's all like you've got Ed Roush here. We've saw Johnny Evers in here. So these are all-time great franchises. This is from a guy
Oh, I
named
see.
from Keith Hemmelman in
So
the Diamond Mine community.
do you have all the seasons for Diamond Mind as well?
No. So I do for Action PC for Diamond Mind. I bought a lot of their other projects, like all the All Star games. They're a complete set of all time great teams. I have every season in here from 1871 to 1926.
Wow.
I have a lot of stuff, plus their all time great players, Volume 1, Volume 2, the ELO
Wow.
tournament team. So I have a lot of stuff for this game, but I didn't do it a lot in the channel just because it's what Bernie saw with Apago. You're kind of like reading, although this is a much better game than Apago, but like by miles. This is an amazing baseball engine under this thing. But so let me save these stats. So
Wow.
sorry for the bling, guys.
But like with that app ago, Bernie would kind of played it just like I'm doing with the card game. You know what I'm saying? And then input it into like digital diamond. I
Mm-hmm.
think it would have been a smoother flow that you wouldn't have seen the behind the scenes dice roll. You know what I'm saying? He could have read it. Hey, this is what happened. Put it into digital diamond. I think it would have flowed better than just using Apago as the screen. You follow me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Bernie just added in Griffith Stadium to
Yeah,
Mike's
that's what he
Griffith
said.
Stadium,
Cool.
which is nice. Hey, good night, Al. Hopefully we can get you on here some night. And Cooney 007 stopping in to say hi. Good to see you. He's doing 2008 in
Yeah.
inside. Is it inside pitch? Yeah, inside pitch.
Yeah,
So
he's using the app. He's using the app. I just downloaded that tonight just to try it out.
yeah,
So
the thing that's kept me away from inside pitch is there's just not enough older seasons yet for that. I
okay.
yeah, that's. I mean, I've watched Robert play it enough that I think I'd like
Yeah.
to give it a try, but I don't want to
Yeah.
give it a try, and like playing like some season that I'm just not like, eh. I mean, like I like 1950s baseball. It's okay, but I would rather jump into a new baseball, something that's going to have give me something in dead ball or 20s or even 1930s. So then I'm going to feel comfortable. Because for me to play like a season from the 2000s, forget it, man. That's how I got screwed in the last Shanks League. I ended up with the we were
Diamondbacks.
assigned franchise. You remember, Dwayne?
I
I got
remember.
Yeah, the
I had the
Brewers.
Diamondbacks and the Brewers. Holy shit! I'm like, what the hell? And every time I get a Brewers draw, it would be like this crap Brewers draw, and I was so proud because I got Randy Johnson though with the Diamondbacks. I'm like, this is it, baby. This is my starter. He stunk up every ballpark he pitched in Shanks, man. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? But you
Well,
guys
Dwayne,
were,
did you do
you know,
Shanks?
what's
Dwayne,
that?
Yeah,
you
Yeah,
did,
so
right?
yeah.
Shanks,
I
yeah.
finished second, made the playoffs, and got swept. Got swept
Really?
by MV. He kicked my butt.
Oh yeah.
Clinton, I've done 1960 and they've won. I've done 1971 and they've won. 79 they've won. 25 they won. Actually, some years ago I did a 1927 replay and the 1927 Pirates beat the 1927 Yankees. So don't be picking on
Blimey,
my
you're
Pirates
pretty
there,
good,
Professor.
man. You're pretty
Yeah,
good at
actually beat them.
managing, Bill.
So, well, it was tough. But you know what? So sports writers at the time, and I think they were right, they were saying that the because that 1927 Pirates team was a really good team. It wasn't a murderer's row, obviously, like the Yankees, but they were no pushovers. That was a tough National League. But apparently, they watched the the Yankees take batting practice. I don't know if that tale's apocryphal or if it happened, but that series, and of course, the Yankees came back in 1928 and did the same thing to the Cardinals, getting revenge for 1926. So no, that was tough. Believe me, man. And I probably got really, really lucky. So I can't say it was any brilliant managing. I mean, I probably just got lucky. I was shocked. I'm like, oh my god, I just beat Murderers Row. I won this World
That's what I
Series. I
got to
won this
decide
season.
when I do these World Series. Am I going to manage or am I just going to let the games play?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, Legends had a tough time too. It's Legends in the Shanks League, and this guy, right? You guys, everybody in here is following Legends, right? This guy knows rosters. He knows numbers. He's like Steve Tate, right?
Hmm.
And he picked a hell of a team. And yeah,
See, I
he said there
rotate.
must have been a mutiny. They underperformed. Your team did. Your team really did, Legends. I expected you to be like in the race down to the end, man. I really did. It's a hell of a team
But
you
you
picked.
think about it though, right? But you
Yeah.
think about when you're doing a league like that, I mean, everybody's good and everybody so but somebody's gotta be so somebody's not gonna be able to do good, right? I mean
Right.
everybody's
Right.
so they can't all have their numbers that they in real life because I don't know
Yeah, you
what they
can't
would
have a
do.
bunch of 300 hitters
Right.
and a
So
1.1
Well,
instead of
right,
ERA.
because they're
27 outs a
facing the
game, right?
best pitchers in the game. That's
Yeah.
true. But I also, I've heard criticisms about leagues like that, and here's my take on it. And like in even all-time great teams, whether it's like this or something where Legends has taken it to a new level. All right, because all the teams are so good, I think you have to manage it right because it's like you're gonna get a good. Let's just say let's pick on Mario Mendoza, right? Right, you're going to pitch to Mendoza, and you might let up a little. You're like, okay, here's Mendoza, but you get Rogers Hornsby to the plate, right? Well, now in an all-time greats league or what have you, you've got to be on your toes if you're, especially if you're managing, right? Because anybody that's out there, if he's if he's a speed guy, he's going to go in that next pitch, whether it's a Vince Coleman or a Hannes Wagner, or you got Babe Ruth at the plate or Willie McCovey or Willie Mays. And I like that. It's like, okay, I'm managing my best against your best. And I like that, And
Yeah.
no, I don't expect although interestingly, in the McGreevy League, what I saw as opposed to Shanks, because Shanks grew out of McGreevy. But in the McGreevy League, in the first one, a lot of the players actually, it was interesting that they performed fairly close. Some of them were standouts. Napoleon Lajoie in the first McGreevy was ridiculous. But here's a question for the chat: how does the Brit MV win McGreevy, then win Shanks? And he claims to have not been into baseball for years until he discovered this community, and he's won both now. And it's like, what's he doing? What
Like,
alchemy is MV doing? Anybody? Anybody? He's
Well,
doing
that's
it,
because he's
man.
a Herrick. The
He is a
devil's on
Harriet.
his side, Beatles.
It
He
must
wants that
be.
oh,
damn DH, the ghost runner. He wants interleague play. That's why.
it's like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
he's spreading the bad word.
So, Legends,
Yeah.
it's interesting that you mentioned that because there's an all-time greats league that I have for Diamond Mine Baseball that not everybody is superstars. It's really kind of fun. And it comes with the all-time great players, volumes 1 and 2. And so it will break the franchises down into like eras. And so you're not it's kind of like your franchise baseball stars baseball league in the respect that you're not getting the best of the best. So like we'll take the Pirates for instance, right? Hannes Wagner isn't there yet. Clemente isn't there on the Pirates in the and they're doing pretty well in your league right now. We're just behind the Cardinals. So I do like that. And again, what you've done, Legends, is so cool. It's so cool. And
yeah.
everybody I think is just as excited about when the draft comes up, right? Because everybody's favorite team, right? It's like when's my guy coming up? For me, for the Pirates, the big guns aren't in there yet. Good night, Todd. Thanks for coming in, man. The big guns aren't there yet, and I'm like, and they're doing well, all things considered, because they don't have Wagner. They don't have Clemente yet. I mean, I forget Legends. Who was the big pick this year? The Bucks got, and I was like, because Willie Stargell was carrying the team as a hitter. But we picked up Mazeroski, which is like meh. But yeah, the draft is fun. And that's why I like doing draft leagues, and that's what makes McGreevy fun because we're with McGreevy, we're not doing the entirety or most of the entirety of baseball history. McGreevy is 1880 to 1919, and what surprised me is that we didn't have overloaded teams because there's only 43 Hall of Famers in that time period. So you can't you would think that okay, but right you have with 5 teams those Hall of Fame guys which had a lot of very good players, but you still we found with McGreevy there's a few outliers you're going to have to draft. It's just the nature of the beast. But
Now, how
what
did you do the first draft?
so the McGreevy draft is super super simple. Yeah, so
Oh, you
Lloyd
did it
so
both.
Lloyd
You
Weiner.
did it the
So
same way.
Lloyd Weiner. No, so all McGreevy and the way McGreevy 2 will work is the same way. Is it'll just be like what we'll set up the draft order. That'll be done random. And then so first manager will say it's you, Dwayne. I'll say, okay, Dwayne, you're up. You have 5 minutes. Draft a player. Boom. As soon as you draft, then it'll be like I would then Ken. Let's say Ken would be up. Ken draft. Todd draft.
That how you did
That's how.
season one too?
Yeah, and that's how we're gonna do the next one too.
Cool.
Because it's such a small time period, right? 1880 to 1919. It doesn't make sense to say, okay, 1917, go. So this way you can really there's more of a chance to tailor your team. And I like the Shanks thing. I think it was cool, but I don't think that's going to work for the McGreevy League, right? Because the idea for McGreevy too is, again, it's a celebration more of getting to know these players from the 19th century and the dead ball era. That and a lot of people here are uncomfortable with those two eras too. And so this way, if we just say it's your turn to pick, that's why the last 2 videos before I made the decision to kind of back off a little bit was just so that people could start getting a sense of some names. So you could go through and if you want to draft Hannes Wagner, well, you're probably going to pick 1908 Hannes Wagner or 1909 Hannes Wagner. You're not going to pick 1914, for instance, right? Now with the Shanks League, what made that a lot of fun, and we have to thank Todd B for that idea, is that his original idea was you would get a year and then you would have to draft from that year. So the funny story, and Dwayne, I don't know if you were you around for the first Shanks. I don't remember that you were, but Steve
No,
Tate
just the last
already
one.
he had this insane pitching rotation, and he's waiting for Walter Johnson, and specifically 1913 Walter Johnson. Okay, so the rule was that I think that if a year came up like 4 times, that year was no longer available in the draft. So Steve's waiting because he passed up like all these other great players and pitchers and stuff like that. It's like 3 in the morning, and Steve's like, "I'm done, man. I'm going to bed." He's gone. 2 rounds later, 1913 comes up, and he didn't get Walter Johnson. And the other funny story, quickly, guys, Robbie Warburg. Guess the player Robbie passed on. This was a shocker. A great pitcher. He passed on Satchel Paige. Right? Because Steve did these using, and Steve Tate's amazing, right? So you
Yeah.
guys know about his Mike. I don't know if do you know about this project, the Negro League project that he did? It's not done
No.
yet, but Steve has said it's fine. I'll put it up on Discord. Did it on Action
Oh,
PC Baseball, and I'll put it up on Discord.
that when he's integrating the league, like, or
Yep, using the
um,
major league equivalencies.
yeah.
So these Negro League players, this is the first in any baseball sim where they could play on a level playing field with what would have been the major leagues back in the day. And so in the first Shanks draft, we had 23 rounds that you drafted from Major League Baseball history. We'll just use that as the term. Rounds 24 and 25, you could draft Negro Leaguers. And so
Oh, okay.
Robbie's turn came up in the draft, and Satchel Paige is sitting there, and everybody, nobody said anything in the chat, and you knew everybody was holding his breath that like Robbie's going to take Satchel Paige, and he didn't. And he didn't. And then it was like, poor Robbie. I mean, we were nice about it, but if you patch on Satchel Paige, you pass on Satchel Paige, you're going to get a little bit of shit.
Yeah.
you know? And so
Yep.
it was fun. It was really,
I
really
like.
fun.
Yeah, I like how
He's talking
Legend.
about the dead ball era Beatles. I think just the name hurts it.
For what?
That most people, the name
Dead
dead
ball.
ball era, I think that just hurts it from the game because most people think of dead ball, think no runs, 1-0 game.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
there was a lot of runs scored back then. You just didn't hit the ball out of the ballpark.
You
You
didn't hit
still
the ball out of
scored
the
runs.
ballpark. Yeah, and it was a fast game. There was nothing dead
Yeah,
about it. And it was rowdy and it was violent.
Yeah.
Again,
yeah. I think the name
yeah,
all those years has hurt it.
yeah. I think I think you're definitely you're on to something there, and I don't know what else to call it.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, that's just what it's known by, by historians and deep
right.
fans like we have in here, right? Somebody says dead ball, they're talking about, a specific 20 years in baseball or whatever.
Mhm.
I don't know, but I thought about doing a broadcast one night, maybe a little discussion if I could get cousin Ken ever on the damn mic. Had him on one time in this channel, and it was brilliant. To sort of have a talk about those two eras, and for him, and I love the 19th century, but he is hands down,
When I
he's
met Ken, he
great.
was on video. He was on Rob's channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
So
used to go on Rob's channel on video, actually be on camera.
actually on camera, wow, that's something. I never
What kind
even
of
got that. Thanks, Ken.
what kind of
Yeah.
picture? What kind of picture is that of Christy Mathewson on the game there? It looks like a face shot, a mug shot of like a
Yeah.
actor or something. One of their pics that they. It doesn't look like a baseball player.
So Christy Mathewson, I learned something recently about him. So his whole thing was he was one of his nicknames was also the Christian gentleman, right? And so he was supposed to be, and he wasn't like quite so uptight. So not only was he a poker cheat, which is that makes him a man after my heart. Besides being one of the greatest pitchers in baseball, he cheated at poker. He was a checkers hustler, only in dead ball, right? And his wife, of course, if you guys watch the Ken Burns baseball documentary, it had to defend him. Look, he's a goody goody, but he's not that good. I'm reading in this excellent book, Tales from the Dead Ball Era. There's during a game, he was pissed off, and he went over and slugged a vendor, just hit him, boom. I mean, Christy Mathewson, the
Cock
Christian
off.
gentleman, just cold cocked the lemonade
The
salesman.
peanut vendor.
And that's why I just I love it. And if you guys haven't read it, Tales from the Dead Ball Era, it's a quick read. But wow, you will be laughing and you'll be shocked. I mean, the umpire Brick Owen got his nickname because somebody hit him with a brick during a game. A
Hmm.
brick. That's dead ball, man. Yep.
Great, great.
um.
Oh, the names are the best. The names are
Oh,
the
Bright,
best.
you had great nicknames back in the day, and I still think though, and of course this guy's 19th century. I think Ken, didn't you and I agree in Clinton that the best nickname in baseball history is Bob Death to Flying Things Ferguson? That was his nickname. Could you imagine? Right? You're playing in 2023, and let's say it's the World Series. Now batting for the Diamondbacks, Mike Death to Flying Things Silva. You're just not going to hear that,
What
right?
year was that? What year was that?
Ferguson played cousin cousin or Clinton. You guys know when Ferguson played. I thought he was a dead or a 19th century player.
Oh, okay.
The Death to Flying Things, man. But
You do Randy
you had
Johnson and Kill Bird?
Randy Johnson killed, right? You had
Right.
Luke Appling was Old Aches and Pains. What a great nickname. What a great nickname. This is the Hall of Famer. Some of the other ones, of course, Wagner was the Flying Dutchman, which of
Yep.
course wasn't Dutch. He was of German descent, but great nicknames. And I used to. Chris Berman got some shit, but I loved that Chris
Oh,
Berman did the Bermanisms, the nicknames,
those are the
because he
best.
was bemoaning the fact that nicknames were gone in baseball,
Yeah. Oh
right?
man, those are the best. He had the best
I
ones.
wasn't him.
Oh, he did it.
Carlos, one if by two if by what? One if by land, one if by sea by air, or one if by land, two if by sea by air, or something like that. It's
Yes,
hilarious.
he was brilliant. I loved Chris Berman when he did that stuff.
I I use those. I use his ones when I'm doing my games. I'm like, oh, is Bert be home by 11?
Good stuff,
Yeah,
man. Good stuff.
great.
And I think that for dead ball baseball, and I don't want to make this into a dead ball or 19th century chat, but there was there was a certain kind of Wild West kind of an almost sort of gangster kind of jam about those two eras that attracts me because it was just crazy. I mean, you get a guy like Mathewson who was considered a paragon of the time, and he wasn't above cheating at cards, checkers, or slugging vendors, and I love
Yep.
it. Yeah. So, and that's
And then
still
you,
not Clinton's. Mike,
yeah,
mine. Oh yeah, the Wild Horse of the Osage, Pepper Martin. There's a great nickname, the Wild Horse of the Osage, leadoff hitter usually for the Gas House Cardinals. Man, and that guy was fast and nuts and filthy. But who has great nicknames today? Like nobody. It's
oh,
it's
I
like
know.
it's like so if you're a multimillionaire now, I guess you can't have a nickname. Is that it? I don't
Yeah,
know. I mean,
like
because look, even into the '60s, right? What Mickey Mantle, the Commerce Comet. What a cool nickname, right? But you
yeah, I
had,
mean,
yeah.
yeah. I
I
liked
think
El Guapo for Rich
Do you
Garces. It was
think
like,
it's
El
because of
Guapo,
print?
yeah.
yeah,
What's that? What's that, Dwayne?
Because you don't have the good print anymore. Nobody reads the papers.
Ken's is Pussy Tabot, who is related to Patsy Tabot, 1895. Pussy Tabot. Now, of course, meaning something different then, but could you imagine, right? Now batting for the Boston Red Sox. Oh my God.
oh,
But
Tommy Dowd, Buttermilk Tommy. I love that.
and I think Babe Ruth probably has the record for the most nicknames, though. I mean,
Mm.
right? The Colossus of Cloud. I mean, just watch Sandlot, and you get like
Oh,
every
that is
Babe Ruth
so
nickname,
awesome.
right?
The Great Bambino.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
are you
You're
talking about
killing
that
me, Smalls.
stupid
yeah.
deer?
Baby, I thought you was talking about that deer.
You know what though? Let me ask you guys a question. If you played baseball when you were a kid, how many did that film resonate with you?
Oh,
It did with me.
Oh, exactly.
great.
Oh my God.
It's awesome.
And I always like the little thing you see on Facebook about your friends. You went out and played your last ball game with your friends and didn't know it was going to be the last ball game you ever played with them. And how true
yeah,
is that?
I know.
Very.
It wasn't like you got together and said, "Well, this is going to be the last
Yeah,
one,
I
guys.
know.
I'll see you."
Yeah.
Yeah, that is so cool and so true.
We
Hey,
improvised. What about you guys? Did you improvise? Like, so if you didn't have nine guys, right? You just had we improvised all the time. Of course, ghost runners and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
you
And
couldn't hit it to right field. It was an automatic out.
yep, 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 yep. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Oh
Yep.
yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, we used to keep stats with like a notepad. Someone would sit there with a notepad and just update like home runs and stuff.
Oh, it
But
was brilliant. It was brilliant. And you
so
could we played Call Your Field, right? And it always happened to me. I'd get a good hit, but it'd be to the field that I didn't call to. I'm like,
oh
shit.
yeah,
Yep, you're out. Damn it. And then we would have
yeah, good
we
time.
anything we could find sewer lids. So it was like the Buick is first base, the manhole cover second base. We didn't care, man. You know, it was baseball, and of course you always had to play as your favorite player. Did you guys do that? Like you
With the
know,
ball, you had to
Oh, the
bat
batting
the way the
stance.
batter did. You
batting
say
sta
you was
Yeah,
Oh,
Dale Murphy, and you had to
exactly.
use his batting stance.
yep, yep.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. If you
yeah,
didn't, man, you were like that was it. It was like, what's wrong with you,
yeah.
man? That's not how Willie Sturgill did that, or whatever.
Yeah, if you was pitching Louis Tion, you had to make the turn back to second and show your back to the batter.
Yep. I
Yep.
feel bad for the
Yeah,
kid that had to pitch like Fernando Valenzuela,
yeah,
breathing
exactly.
through his eyelids, right?
Yeah, yeah. With a
Oh,
garter
geez,
belt
geez.
on.
Oh,
Oh my God. So Clinton says that they played in a ball field a farmer let him use. The only rule was if it hit his barn, it was an automatic out. Yeah, always had the radio on. So did we. We would have Pirates games on, and we'd be playing baseball and listening to the Pirates game. And if it was a real close game, you know, whoever was up, it was like, oh wait, and we would stop play to listen to the broadcast. We all needed intervention at that time, and probably still do. Look at us, we're all here today
yep.
doing it. So, and I think baseball lends itself to basketball. I know as well. You know, you can kind of really improvise basketball. I suppose you can with it, since Legends is here. You can with football. You know, right? Because
Yep.
right, you don't need 22 people to play that game.
Did you
We
just say
used to play a
football?
goofy game, and I can't say it on YouTube. What we used to call it, but you
Yeah,
guys
I
will
know what
know
it
me.
was.
You know what it was. You threw the
Yeah, I
ball
know what
up,
it
and whoever
was. We
caught
used to
it.
play it too. And back then, it wasn't bad to say, and you didn't even mean it that way.
I know. I can't say it now, but you know
Yep.
it's
I wanted to get you in
STQ,
trouble.
guys. Figure it out. Yeah,
Yep.
STQ are the initials. But
Smear.
here smear the yeah. But here's the
Yep.
thing. Here's how what we were like as kids. If you think about the game, smear the it doesn't make sense because when you caught the ball, you were running around till everybody was tackling you. And I'm
Yep.
thinking, and it didn't hit me till I'm like in my teens. I'm like, okay, I know I've been stupid all my life, but
Why did
why
you
would
want
I
the
want to
ball?
catch the ball? And we right? And it's like
I never thought of it until you just said it. But yeah, why did you want the ball?
yeah, yeah, and we're all like running for the ball. Oh yeah, tackle me, bam.
Yeah, because you didn't get nothing out of it. It wasn't like they kept the clock, and whoever kept the ball the longest was the winner.
Right. Oh my
Yeah.
God, it was
Yeah, you're right. I
funny.
never thought about it.
It was
I
stupid.
played with my buddy. We played like 5-on-5, 7-on-7. He
Hmm.
used to love clotheslining people. He showed up at a game and he was normally on my team. He put a pad on his forearm. I'm like, what the hell you got a pad on for? He says, man, I've been bruising my forearm. I'm like, you think they're going to put up with you clotheslining them with a freaking pad on your arm? And they did.
I know we're
They're crazy.
stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, legend says because we were idiots, but we lived. I'm sorry, I'm gonna get on the. I'm not old man here or anything like that. But look, you guys, we played STQ. We played baseball without helmets. I mean, we did. I don't know about you guys.
Right.
We didn't have money for that shit, right? And
Yep.
right, we played stickball, all that kind of stuff.
Stickball.
And
Yep.
then look, what about the playgrounds, man? Do you guys remember the dreaded monkey bars? And
Oh yeah.
what was that thing
Well,
that
we
spun
played
you
over
around
at
really
Funkstown
fast?
Park, Beatles,
Yeah.
and back then they didn't take care of the field after Legion. Legion played on American Legion. They didn't take
Oh.
care of the field after that. That turned into concrete, and I'm not exaggerating. So we go over there, and I'm playing the infield, and they're like, Dwayne, and it was just a dirt infield, no grass at all. They're
Oh
like,
man.
do not dive on this. It is hard. So I was like, okay. So if ball goes up the middle, I don't dive. I let it go through for a base hit. Another one goes through for a base hit. Well, finally you forget and you just play the game and you dive for the ball. I get up, Beatles, and my pants are ripped off my body. I look down and I have no damn jeans on my
Oh
legs. They're
man.
ripped. I said, "Mom's gonna kill me, guys." They wasn't new jeans, but they was still decent looking. 2 or 3 weeks later, I go over there and ruin another pair of jeans. I'm like, I can't do this no more, guys. I ain't gonna be able to live in the house. Yeah, crazy.
But it was, you know what? We lived. We lived. Clinton's talking about that merry-go-round thing. It was always fun to spin it real fast and let centripetal force do its work, and little kids would fly
Or you
off
stood up
everywhere.
on it when you did it. See if you could stand.
Damn, that was great. And then, or on
Yeah.
swing sets, right? If it wasn't cemented down properly, you had to try to tip
Oh
it.
yeah, you tried to make it
Oh,
pop up.
God.
Yeah. And waxing the big sliding board so you could go faster. Man, I was driving to work today, and a there's a playground on the way, and there's like these little plastic slides that are like just 6 feet
Yep.
up, and I'm like, oh my god, what is this? And like,
We got.
we lived. Here we are. We might be
Yep.
damaged, but right, Mike?
You should
Damn
see.
seesaw and your buddy would get off and drop you from the top.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there'd be. Oh yeah. I mean, I have a
Yeah.
6-year-old. I have a 6-year-old daughter, and like you go to the park now.
Hmm.
It's like the whole the ground where the park where the jungle gym is on is like soft. It's like a pillow. You walk on it. It's like it's a spongy. Like
Bungee
there's no way
rubber.
you can get hurt at these parks anymore. Like you can fall and you like sink like 3 feet into the ground. It's like it's
Oh
unbelievable.
man,
You know.
yeah, I don't
I
know.
busted my head on a damn seesaw. Somebody getting
Oh,
off of it went
oh
backwards when I
yeah.
hit the ground, and it was elementary school, and it was Black Macadam was where it was at. Bang! Wasn't no grass even. Like I say,
Oh
playground
yeah.
was on Black
Wow.
Macadam.
And,
Oh my God. And then if you got cut or scraped up, man, your mom put that burning orange shit on you, man, and
oh
you went
yeah.
back out.
Yep. What
And
was
Yeah.
that? Start with
mercur
an M, didn't it?
methylate or
Stunk like
mercuric.
crazy.
Hey, good night,
Yep.
legends, and enjoy your weekend with your son, man. Good to see you. Oh my God. Do kids play pickup baseball games anymore? You know what, Bernie? I see so many empty baseball fields. I don't think they do. I don't. I haven't seen. Mercurochrome. There you go. I
Yep.
haven't seen kids play pickup baseball games in forever. And you know what? They're never going to know the joy. Did you guys do the thing? You throw the bat up in the air and the boom, the hand over the hand, and whoever hit the knob, right? When you
Mhm.
got, so that's how we did it, right? Which team was going to be up first, right? You see it in Sandlot. Throw
Right.
the bat up there and you catch it. And then you had to try to, like, when it was getting near the top, you would just do like 2 fingers and you were trying to figure out,
Yeah.
okay, who was going to get the knob of the bat to be up first, right? Did you guys do that?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Fun stuff,
I used to
man.
play. I used to play a lot of wiffle ball with my
Love
friends.
wiffle ball, dude. Oh my
I
god.
had I built there was an empty lot next to my house,
Mm-hmm.
and I built like outfield walls and the foul lines and stuff, and like all the neighborhood kids would come over. We just used that
Mm-hmm.
every day, like during the summer. It was like amazing. We kept like stats and everything. It was awesome. It was so cool.
Oh yeah.
It was
I'll tell
great.
you one thing I
We
think
played
it's hurt with
wiffle ball when I
Sandlot.
was in college, man. We played against the
Yeah.
professors and beat them 14 to
I think
13.
what's hurt a lot though with Sandlot is
Yeah.
daycare. Because I mean, I was lucky. Most of my neighborhood, moms didn't work back then. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
when you
Yeah.
was home from the summer, everybody was still in the neighborhood. Now I remember when I was in my early 20s, when I moved out of the house, I moved literally across the street from my mom and dad, and I'd be off on back then Monday and Tuesdays when I first got the job down at the prison, and there was hardly any kids because I thought, man, this will be a pain in the ass during the summer. I was working midnight trying to sleep during the day because all the kids be out playing and carrying on, but
Uh-huh.
the most of the kids wasn't in the neighborhood. They was at some kind of daycare or something,
Yeah.
or at a camp or something like that during the summer.
Yeah. You do see a lot of pickup basketball games. I know that I mean, because baseball's been trying to get, inner cities, but the problem is baseball takes up a lot of real estate. Easier to put up, a half or even a full
18
court,
kids.
right? Yeah. And so basketball court's smaller, and so um, you know,
You just need a hoop, a net, and a
yep,
ball.
yeah. In fact, where I work, so I work at FedEx, and they have like a basketball hoop set up there, and people are on their break, they just play pickup games, right inside the, where we process everything. I know that makes everybody feel a lot better now shipping their packages, but the packages are nowhere near them. So. But it's all
Oh,
cool.
it's inside.
Yeah, it's inside. Yeah, big. We have like a
Cool. I
big,
thought you
big.
meant out in the parking lot.
No, it's inside the actual facility. There's a
Darn, cool.
basketball hoop set up there, and people can play basketball. It's pretty cool. So it's nice. But
Yeah, I
so what
worked in a warehouse. We played stickball.
stickball, man? So yeah,
Yeah.
played that stuff, man.
Love
We played
stickball.
like wiffle stickball actually in college. It
Yeah.
was fun. But so I'm going to talk about Dwayne, like upcoming. If can you tell us a bit more about your World Series project you're kicking around? Is after
Yeah, I want to
1961?
do every World Series from 1903 until 2023 by the time I
Wow.
get started, and it'll probably be longer than that, Beatles, because I figured it up. If you got the like 3 years that could go 9 games, you figure
Right.
if they all go 7 games, phew, I forget how many actual seasons that is, 162 games. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be a while. But one thing I thought, I could take breaks in between each World Series. I won't take a break in between a World Series games, try to get the 7 games done within a week, you know what I'm saying, or
Yeah.
two.
Right.
But if I get burned out on that, I can stop. Like I get to 1927 and get burned out, I can stop for a month or two and then go
Yeah.
pick up 1928. It's not like you miss the flow of it doing it that way. That's one reason why when I got back into this app, I forgot how nice it is to get immersed and know that such and such 2 days ago was 0 for 4 and he broke out of the slump. And if you wait a month or two, you lose that, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're right.
Exactly.
So
So,
so
but
Mike,
yeah,
what do
I'm looking
you
forward to it.
Mike, what about you? Like, do you have something planned for after 1986? I know you're rolling every game, so it's going to be a while. But I mean, you're already in July. I remember you started talking about
Yeah.
it, so you're
I don't.
moving at a good clip.
I'm hoping. I'm hoping
Night,
I'll be
Clinton.
finished by maybe beginning of next season, like the opening day of like I don't know. I'm hoping. I don't know. Not really. I'm just gonna putz around. Like every once in a while I'll play like Action PC. Like I'll pull up the 1969 season. I'll play a few games just to putz around.
Hmm.
So that actually I actually do have that going on. Like not I don't usually do it too often. But yeah, that's fun to do. I actually used all the I got all the POC pics and all the pictures. Well, the Action PC already had the pictures for that year. I downloaded the players, but all the POCs from my OTP, I did all that, and I started playing out. That's fun for me, the 1969, because I don't really know a lot of the players from that year.
Right.
I mean, just so it's fun to go, and I've been doing, playing through every game. That I've maybe probably done like 2 or 3 days worth on that, so not too far. But I don't know, just probably just I'll keep my options open, I guess, and I'll probably do some smaller projects I might be able to get through a lot quicker, next time. So
Yeah, 1969, the year of the Amazons. In fact, one of them's pitching right now. So is this one Seaver versus Mathewson? Bernie has a question for you, Dwayne. He says he wants to know, do you use the stock Apple boards? Oh, you're already answering it.
Answered him on there, but I have them, but no, I use the book, and it's called the 66 book. It's literally 8 by 11. It's the small book that a lot of people wish they could get now. That don't take up much room.
yeah,
Now the print's small for an old guy that has to have cataracts taken off, but it don't take up much room on the table. Yeah, and it
yeah, I
has
have
the
the
X and the R factors in there, and so so
Well,
I guess
how do
that was
you guys, both of you
around the
guys, I'll ask you,
2000s.
how do you guys handle like as far as all right, because a digital game, right, is going to be the size of your computer. That's it's the size of your monitor. How do you guys manage the footprint of a table game? I mean, what do you look for?
oh,
Like when you look for a game, are you looking for a small footprint? Do you want or don't you mind like are you okay with like tons of charts everywhere or I'm kind of
Well, with
interested in the
Apple with the
process
big board, so
getting
I'm used to a big footprint.
okay, because I mean, with getting back into cards and dice, I'm kind of just curious, you guys, and in the chat, what you look for in a game. Like, is footprint important to you, or do you have enough space to do it, or what?
yeah. I mean, for me, like I have like my desk where I have the two monitors on my computer. I
Hmm.
have a little space where I can put some like my payoff pitch cards right on the desk, but then I also have I put these like these like little TV, like trays, like kind of like, the ones you'd eat your dinner on in the living room, whatever.
Hmm.
I put a couple of those right next to me on my left, and I have my dice tower on that, and I have my like I was using Apple yesterday. I have my big Apple book like right laying on that, and so I basically just flip through it to my left, and then I have the cards in front of me on my table. It's
Mm-hmm.
not too bad. You know, it works for me. I've using Apple and payoff pitch. Once I start playing some games, like I usually get a good flow going. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Um, and just whatever works for everybody, I guess. I do
So
have to turn my head here and there to look at my screen, look back here, look at the
sure.
card. But I try to minimize that as much as I can.
So has there been a game that you've like maybe played, say in your past you played some cards and dice baseball that you've kind of become, and you don't have to by name, just yes or no, I guess, or whatever, but it's up to you. That maybe you feel that's like, this kind of, I'm not feeling it anymore, because you move on to different things or whatever, and we are in an age where what Bernie says there's like 97 baseball sims available out there
Yeah.
digitally and cards and dice to play. So it's an insane amount of games. Was there anything that you kind of got into and you're like, I'm not feeling this after a while? Like, not like just trying out a game, if it makes any sense. Because I guess what I'm leading up to is a big question for you guys and anybody in the chat. What criteria? So not just accuracy, but what criteria are you looking for in a cards and dice
I'm
baseball game?
well, I'm new. I'm new to the cards and dice, so I mean everything I love. So I mean it's not like I can't really answer that question very well. Maybe Dwayne, maybe he's played a lot longer than me, I'm sure. So maybe he might have more of a
My whole
input.
thing is, and I've never started a project Beatles and halfway through it's like, geez, I'm stopping this. Now I go back to like pennant race, which was that quick roll one, two dice and get a score.
Mm-hmm.
Now I might do that. Me and my buddy did that maybe for a season. I didn't want to do that back to back. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to get into a game that had stats next.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But yeah, no, nothing. Once I started it, said, man, I'm tired of this stinking game. I'm not playing it. But
Okay.
like I say, after I did a long season or something, I might say I'm coming back to something different. But nah, nothing where I played the game after 10 or 15 games and said, man, I don't like this game. I've always enjoyed everything. Each game's a little different. Like Status Pro back in the day with the fast action cards, I wasn't used to that. I was used to rolling dice with APA. So that took a little bit of getting used to it, but it was pretty cool playing that after you got used to it. And then I want to go back and play APA with the dice,
Yep.
get more of a, in my mind, more of a chance that something can happen on every play. Where if you was smart enough to look at the cards,
Mm-hmm.
you know that number's not going to come up. So there's no way Mickey Mantle can hit a home run because the 36 ain't in there no more. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Till you reshuffle the deck.
Yeah.
Bernie says
So
here that the games have to flow. Multiple dice rolls really are aggravating.
yeah,
I agree.
yeah. I
Same thing
mean,
with action, fast action cards. If you got to flip 15 cards in order to get to what you're looking at, again, especially in baseball.
yeah. Let me
Right.
tell
Now
you though.
football with I
Yeah.
played status pro football and you might have to flip three cards, but it would be like um if you was doing a run, you know the blocking, so you kind of could picture the blockers doing their job and then the running back going through the hole and you flip the card to see how far he ran. It kind of flowed pretty good, you know what I'm saying, with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bernie
So
says he
I
loves.
think with the
Okay.
APA,
Uh
like
huh.
with APA, well, with payoff pitch, like I love payoff pitch. I think that's my favorite game.
Mm-hmm.
That I have
That's the
quite,
one with the
that.
tough, patient and all.
Yeah, it's great. It's really good
Yep.
because you get like the pitcher batter. Like you have four dice. Two of the dice is for the pitcher card. Two you roll them all at once. Two you read the two for the pitcher, two for the batter, and then yeah, they also have fast action cards. That's so much better for using like base runner advancement. So you don't have to be looking up charts.
You
Basically, you
could do
just
that with inside pitch too, Mike, if you want it. Get
oh
two
yeah,
different colored dice and roll
oh
four
no yeah,
dice, and that way, if you
yep.
went to the batter, you wouldn't have to re-roll.
Yep. But the fast
Yep.
action cards are great. I didn't know if I was gonna like that, but it's so much better as far as like, oh, if a runner advances to two bases or one base, you don't have to roll dice for that. So you
Ooh,
just flip the card and it's got all the steal, the sacrifice result, steal result, all that stuff's on those. It's great. They give you like 100 cards too, so
there's
there's like
enough
a ton.
that makes it random.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
the double side, both
Oh
sides
my
is
God.
different
Yeah.
ones.
Yep.
I remember
It's great.
playing that in college, and I don't. I mean, you'd have to do the math. How many pot? What? Let me tell you this. There's enough cards just to give you. Okay, so if you take a 52 card deck of playing cards. Okay, this is going to blow your mind really hard. Okay, and this will tell you why Status Pro, like those fast action cards, will work, and how long it would take. So take a deck of cards and you shuffle it and you put it in a case, put it in its card box, and you get another one and shuffle it. How how much space do you think it would take up to shuffle a deck of cards into every possible order? So it's a permutation. Take a guess.
Oh, you got me. I, I imagine it's in the millions.
It would take the entire it would fill the entire Milky Way galaxy. So when you
No
shut
kidding.
I'm serious. So the next it's
All
the yeah, the number is 6.039 followed by 67 zeros are the possible number of orders, and that's like more than there are quantum states in the universe. And here's the
That's
weird thing
crazy.
too. I know magicians, we study this weird shit. So the next time you shuffle a deck of cards, you're playing poker, you're playing whatever. It's got to be a poker deck though, or a bridge deck. So 52 different cards. Take out the jokers. When you've shuffled that deck of cards, the chances are that never in history and never again in the future will the cards be in that order
Wow,
mathematically.
that's
So
Not
crazy.
just for you, but for anybody.
right, for anybody. So now you're
That's
talking
wild.
about
That is wow.
Status
Vegas
Pro
or
Baseball, which has twice the amount of cards, plus they're two sided, plus
yep.
there's the one side of the card and the other side of the card.
All right.
When you start thinking,
Yes,
because
there's
when
four,
you're
right?
doing a permutation, order matters. That number
Wow.
is insane. And there's a permutation. We could probably do it. Do you guys know how many? How many cards are in Status Pro?
No.
No, I can't remember.
All right, let's just say 100. Let's do a
See if I can look it
permutation,
up.
because I'm just going to go on this permutation thing right here. All right. So let's. This is pretty crazy. All right. So how you do a permutation? Do you ever look on your calculator and you see the exclamation point?
Yep.
That is how you do a permutation. So basically, it's like the number 5 factorial is 5 times 4 times 3 times 2. That's how you do permutations. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring this up here because I'm curious to see what this is going to be. So we're going to do a permutation of 100. And let's see, number of items at a time. Um, Let me see. Da, 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 da. Trying to think. I just want to do. Wait, let
Yeah.
me try this way because I this the
Payoff pitch uses 126.
okay.
It is
All right. So what
double sided.
is you said 120? Okay. So what
126 payoff pitch uses.
126 for payoff pitch. So what is 126 factorial? I'm gonna let the compute because that's why we invented these things. Holy shit. Okay. So here's the number. It is 2.372173 and then 211 trailing zeros after it.
That's amazing.
Now,
Well, that's
okay,
one part
but
about
then
the game
but then
too, though.
multiply that by
The
4
dice doesn't work, I
in
don't think,
Status
as well
Pro.
with those type games because those
No.
numbers are made in there that they won't come up very often. You know what I'm saying?
Let me drag
You
this
start
number.
rolling the dice, and my buddy did it with status prep. You end up getting more home runs and all because you roll that dice number too often.
Hmm.
Yep.
There's the number, guys. It's
Oh,
up on
look
the
at that.
screen. That's insane. That's
Oh my God.
126 factorial. So in a game like Status Pro, right? So let's say it's 100 cards, but there's so whatever this number is, you're going to multiply this by 4. Okay. So if we take 100 factorial, all right, and yeah, what's 0 factorial? All right. So I love big numbers. They just enchant me. Okay. So this is 9 point blah 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 plus 157 trailing zeros. Now the way Status Pro works is you basically have two cards in the front, two cards in the back. It's double sided. So it's you could never ever 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 see the same order twice ever. I don't care how many billions of years. In fact, just with a regular deck of cards, in theoretical physics, there's a thing called the Poincare. And Mike, you've probably heard of this. Reset time. So the universe after so many years would reset itself. It would happen. I think I read 6 times um, for you. That's how long it would take you to actually shuffle a 52 card deck of cards into every possible permutation.
Wow.
Now we're talking something even more mammoth. You could never ever see the same order. You just won't. I mean, you actually have a better chance of winning Mega Millions. Much better chance actually. So enough geekiness there, but
Yeah.
some big numbers. Yeah.
Well, but back to Appa,
Yeah,
like
please.
the one thing about Appa, after using payoff pitch and playing, one
Mm-hmm.
thing about Appa, it's tough because I was playing it yesterday and a little bit today,
Mm-hmm.
was just the fact that the lefty righty thing, when I'm putting a pitcher in, I'm like, it doesn't really matter usually I try to put lefty against lefty and try to match those up,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just like,
You're
now
playing
it's
the
like with
basic game, right?
yeah, with Appa Basic, it's just like,
Right.
Yeah.
okay, well, it doesn't matter what
Yeah.
pitcher,
See,
you just don't have that same feeling, I don't
right.
get that
That's when
same,
you get people that play APA and people that play baseball. I
Right.
when I was when I was 12 years old and
Yeah.
me and
Play
you would
master.
play at 12
Exactly.
years old, I played APA. I tried to win the game. Now I play baseball.
Yeah. Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, you don't do you do master game, or are you doing basic?
Yeah.
On
So
I'm
Wii?
just
here's the
doing basic.
he's
Yeah.
Yeah,
doing
doing basic,
basic,
right.
and as I was explaining on Bernie's broadcast tonight, which is I don't know why they're doing it this way, but Appa Go is the basic game, but Appa PC that Ernie Harwell calls, that's the
Windows,
master game. And some night, if I come back and do this, I'll manage a game and show you that there's more you can do with that. So Appa Go, you have like four managing chain or
yeah.
four, yeah. Um, but they
Oh yeah,
haven't
because it lets
changed
you
that
decide whether you
stupid
want to
thing.
steal, whether you want to
Yep,
run, and whether
pitch
you want to
out.
throw.
Yep, yep, yep,
Yep.
yep. And
But
the other
see,
thing, it's still just Great American Ballpark after all this time. I first tried Apago in 2019. Still the same ballpark, and it's still 200 and something dollars if you like. It's like $22 a month if you want every season. And I'm like, but baseball for Windows is the better game. So I just that's why I
one
don't
thing
like
I do,
Apago.
and I try to take up for APA basic, um, Earl Weaver in the
Mm-hmm.
dugout does not tell Lowenstein or Singleton whether to throw the third or not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He
Mm-hmm.
doesn't tell freaking Eddie Murray to try to
Yeah.
stretch it into a double.
No.
You know what
No.
I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, to in a way, you're not. If you're playing the game to be the manager doesn't make most of those decisions.
No.
Yeah.
So that's what I always take up for Appa. The manager's sitting back a lot of times and watching things play out and then
True, yeah.
deals with the results of that, how he manages the rest of the game after that result.
No,
So,
I like that, but I like that part. It's kind of like when I'm playing app, I
Hey,
kind of like
Chris.
that part where
Go
you
ahead,
don't have to
Mike.
worry about stealing and stuff.
No, go ahead, Mike.
So,
I'm just greeting people as they come in. So it's
oh no,
Chris.
okay. No,
Chris
I was
wanted
just
to
saying,
come in.
like with app, I enjoy like the difference in the fact, and at least that part, but the whole lefty righty is tough. That's a managerial piece, right? When you're talking about pinch
yes,
hitting,
Mm-hmm.
bringing in the relievers, the lefty righty thing's huge. I mean that
yes, it
makes a
is.
huge
I
difference.
agree.
So So yeah, but yeah, I get over it. It's fine, because
But like I
I
say,
like
though,
both
you look
games.
back in like 61 that I'm doing, that wasn't much of a factor. You started the game and you played the game. The
Yep.
nine guys really, that's who played. And I mean, that's another thing I love about this is even playing the visiting team, it's almost the same lineup every time I play them. So you really
Yep.
get to know. Most of them
Yeah.
played
Yeah.
140, 120 games at least.
Yep.
It wasn't like they played 80 games and this guy played 80 and this guy played 40 and this guy played
Yep.
40 and this guy played 40. So that is a lesser of a fact with the
Yeah.
season I'm doing. But like you say, you get into the 80s, 90s, and definitely the 2000s. You're absolutely right. Lefty, righty is
Oh
a
yeah.
major factor in baseball.
True. So
Major.
so Dwayne, it sounded like you said you're not doing as played, or you kind of mess around with your lineups, like you have like Scour and hitting higher in the
I
order. Is
do
that?
as played as far as the visiting team,
Yeah.
complete lineups as played. Now,
Okay.
once the game starts, and I manage that team just like I do the
I see.
Braves
Yeah.
or the
Right.
Yankees.
Exactly. Right. So the
Now the
starting
Braves and
lineups
the
are.
Yankees, if I don't like if they got Joe Torre batting lead off as a
Mm,
catcher for whatever reason that game, he ain't leading off for me. And
okay.
and like I say with the Yankees, my biggest thing with the Yankees was they was so left-handed against a right-handed pitcher that it was so easy to bring a lefty in and match up against five or so guys right in a row that I mixed in right-handers in between them. That's the
Yeah.
only difference. But if Johnny Blanchard played in the game, he's playing, but he might not be batting fourth or third
Yeah.
or whatever. He might be batting fifth or sixth or seventh. It's the only
Right.
difference. But they actually are playing in the game, and I do that because I ain't managing every team. If I was
Right.
managing every team like you are, Mike, I probably would do my own lineups. But I
Really?
don't want the digital diamond me messing with pitching rotation, and then the next game digital diamonds managing, and they want to
Yeah.
pitch Juan Marichal, and I just pitched him against the Braves.
Yeah. 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 Exactly.
Yeah,
Well, this is one thing, right? And I like the as play lineups, but I saw this came up as an issue to me. And I'm curious how it's going to work out. When I saw Ron Druckett doing his this year his 2001 action PC thing. At the end of his regular season, the Red Sox were in it. They were like a game or two behind the Yankees, right? And he was
right.
doing played. And at the end of September, he's trying
Yep,
to
I know where you're
trying
going.
to what's that?
I know where you're going. Go
Well,
ahead.
The Red Sox were trying to make the playoffs in his sim, but in real life they were already out of it. And then if you
Correct.
using the as played lineups, he had all the
Evening,
scrubs in.
Andrew.
Manny
I'm
Ramirez,
gonna have
everybody
to
wasn't even
decide on that
starting.
when I get there. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, so
Yep.
I'm worried about that. I'm curious if that's
Yeah, me and you
what am I
both. I
gonna
thought the
do?
same thing.
Yeah.
Correct. Because even in the Yankee replay, by the middle of September, they had an 8 game or so lead.
Yep.
So I don't know what they did. So again, if I'm in a battle with Detroit or Baltimore near the end of the year, I might change. And Mick was hurt, but he wasn't on the IR at the end of the year.
Yep.
So technically, he was available. You know
I
what I'm
see.
saying? So again, if they're in the pennant race, do I play him or not? That'll be
Right.
a question. And with the National League, with the Braves, my big thing will be I don't know how big of a lead the Reds had going into the National League. I'll look it up on Baseball Reference or Almanac. I may even have to go in and adjust the lineup in Digital Diamond for those teams, and then fast play it after I do the lineup. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
thought
Yeah. I
about
mean,
that, Mike.
yeah.
Yep, that's a
It
good
was, I
one.
saw that was a perfect illustration. It was a Red Sox game. It was a Red Sox game against the Orioles. It was and like the Red Sox in real life were like they were in last place or one of the they were terrible. They weren't in good shape. And and like he built the game up to be well they're only a game out and they're battling for the thing. But then they had they had these guys I hadn't even never even heard of on the Red Sox starting the
Right.
game. And I think he brought in Ramirez and Ortiz and all these, oh, not Ortiz, but Ramirez and all these other guys. He brought all those guys in maybe for one at bat at the end of the game. I'm like, that's just like that just doesn't work. It just to me it's like
Yeah.
that's kind of a bummer, you know.
Yeah.
It's like
Because, like we've said before, me and Beatles and Ken and all, once you roll the dice, it's a fictional game. You
yep,
can name those guys anybody you
exactly.
want.
yep,
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So,
exactly.
yeah.
And Bernie brings
Yep.
up a good point here too, which is, he's right. He says, the lineup order is only in order for the first time around the lineup,
See.
which is true
Yeah.
because you're
Yeah.
right. Well, you're putting your cleanup hitter on there. Well, your cleanup hitter's not going to be up fourth every inning, right? Every
Right. He
time,
might be
right?
lead.
Yeah, he might be leading off. So that batting order. I'm going to ask you guys here now. Here's something else too. So
Now, see,
looking,
though, with Appa, kind
uh
of
huh,
with the numbers,
mm-hmm,
the way the numbers work in certain base situations,
mm-hmm,
like, and I think that's what's going on with Scouring.
mm-hmm,
If you know Appa, he might have a 5. So if bases was empty
mm-hmm.
when he's at bat, that's going to be a double. Now I'm getting him in the batting order with Mick and Maris, moving him up in the batting order, and if Mick
Oh
and
yeah,
Maris and Quebec's getting on, now that 5's turning into a home run for him,
I see.
and I think that's why he's hitting more home runs for me.
So
Hmm.
Andrew said way back here, he says, "What about when the other teams get in a pennant race?" He says, "That's when I might adjust the other team's lineup. Otherwise, he likes to play. He likes as played for roster management." What do you guys think about the pennant race idea there? Changing those up.
Oh, I agree with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I say, I might even have to go in and manage teams on Digital Diamond as far as starting the lineup, and then let the digital diamond pitch hit or do whatever they want afterwards.
Hmm.
Yep.
So I have another
Because
question now for you
again,
guys too. Go on, Dwayne. Then I have another one
yeah,
that
again,
should be
I want
interesting.
it to be as realistic as possible. I don't want, like I say, I don't want the Braves, me managing them, be that big of an advantage. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
So here's my next question. And this is a little bit of a thing. So games have built-in pitcher fatigue. Okay. But and so there's a rule like so I'm thinking outright of pocket pennant run, right? So like Walter Johnson's fatigue rating is 7, which I'm like, this is weird. So the rule says so he's an A pitcher, but after the seventh inning, eighth inning, he's going to be a B pitcher, and the ninth inning,
Hmm.
he's going to be a C pitcher. What do you guys do? Like, do you guys bend rules? Let's say you have a pitcher that has a no hitter going into the seventh. Are you going to implement that any sort of fatigue
No,
rule, or are you going to let him pitch?
I let him pitch.
And
Pitch.
not affecting his
Unless I'm Whitey
ratings.
Ford and I don't realize he's got a no hitter beat on, I take him out for a pitch hitter because it's a 2-1 game, which some idiot named Dwayne Martz actually did.
Oops.
Yeah.
No, I let him
Yeah,
play.
oops. And didn't realize he had a no hitter until the end of the game, Mike, when I was looking at the box score.
Oh, oh
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
Must have been sleeping at the wheel that one.
Well, like I say, it was a 2-1 game. He gave up a run because he walked and had an error and all. So it wasn't like he was even pitching a shutout.
Oh,
It was a two
yeah.
to
So you don't
one
even
ball
think.
game in the seventh inning, and he wasn't pitching well. Whitey was walking everybody in town. So I'm like, I'm pitch hitting for him. I take
Right.
him out. They win the game 3-2, I think. And I'm looking at the box score, going over his stats. You know, he pitched 7 innings of no hit baseball, and Whitey Ford's in the dugout cussing Dwayne March right now for yanking him out of the game. I'm like, darn. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't. I usually when if a pitcher's getting shelled, like I'll take him out. Like he has to give up at least 5 or 6 runs before I start thinking about taking him out. And or if he's like shutting out the team, and he's maybe under 5, 6 hits or whatever, and he's got a shutout going, I'll just let him go. I
Yep.
mean,
Okay.
but if it's anything else, I try to keep it realistic. If he's
Well,
giving up a
that's just
couple
like
runs.
I had a 20 inning game the other
Yeah.
day,
Oh,
and
really?
it was the Giants and the Braves, and they played the next game. So
Wow.
I'm played it realistic.
Yeah.
You two starting pitchers are going 6 or 7 innings. Don't even think you're coming out of this game before
Yeah.
the seventh or eighth inning. I
Yep.
just used my whole damn bullpen up in a 21 inning game. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
you
I
have to
try to
bite the
do it
bullet. You have to
realistic.
bite the bullet. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't care if you give up 10 runs in the first inning, you're out there, buddy.
Yep.
Andrew says, to be fair, I think in 2001, weren't some of the Red Sox players hurt at the end, like Nomar and Pedro Martinez, so may not have had a choice unless you're thinking of another year.
Oh, it's
So,
2001.
so how does that?
Oh,
So if you're doing a replay, would you guys play as if the player wasn't injured, let's say, or how do you handle those? I
oh
mean,
no. If they were injured, then you can't do anything about it. But it's just a bummer when you get that far, and then you're hoping there's a good pennant race, and then you're relying on like someone like Darren Bragg or some shit bum or something that's trying that are in the
Right.
lineup trying to win the game for you. You know what I mean?
My, now my thing is, Beetle, if they're injured and still on the roster,
Yeah.
hmm,
then they're available for me.
Yeah.
If
okay,
they're on the IR or back in the day, the DL, then
hmm,
they're not available for me. But like I said, Mickey Mantle in 61, he didn't play the last few games of the year, but he wasn't on the DL. He was still on the roster. You know what I'm saying? So
hmm.
that'll be my decision at the end of the year if it's a close pennant race. Do I use him, knowing that physically they probably wouldn't have put him in no matter what? You know what I'm saying? Because he was in that bad a shape, and I think truthfully, like the last game of the year, he was in the hospital, so he wasn't even physically at the stadium. But again, he wasn't technically off the roster. So
Mhm.
When you're playing solo cards and dice, all right. So there's no AI there. You're going off cards. How do you? What decisions do you guys make as far as like right? Because you want to steal. right, but you
Yeah.
also you're kind of managing for the other, right, for the defense, right? So how do you handle a situation where you want to steal, but how do you be fair? It's like, okay, this guy should call it, the manager should call a pitch out or a pick off in this play. That's something that when I used to my memory foggy, but when I used to play um, cards and dice baseball, I'm like, how do you do this? Because you're kind of doing for both. Now, again, I know now there's things like that, but I'm just curious, what are some of the things you guys deal with in base running situations to be fair to the defense? So you're managing the Red Sox and you're playing the Yankees, and you want to be the Red Sox, but yet you got to be fair, and you've got a runner on first, and you want to steal. How do you guys handle that? I'm just curious.
Um, well, I in payoff pitch they have an auto steal procedure
Okay.
based on what you roll the dice, and if their jump rating, which is on the card, is greater than or equal to the D6 number, the 2D6, then you actually have a steal attempt. So it's like I don't make that decision basically.
That's the thing with APA.
I let the dice make that, and then an APA, right, Dwayne, an APA that steals or the stealing and all that is
Uh,
just
Now,
all
occasionally,
baked in.
I'll even for the other team, it'll be freaking let's say it's we're here. I got the Yankees and I got the White Sox out. Okay, Pete Daly for the I'm sorry, I got the Senators out. Pete Daly, catcher for the Senators. He's
Hmm.
on first base, and I'll roll the dice, and it comes up a 38. It says runner out stealing second, and it's a 2-1 game in the ninth inning.
Oh yeah.
I will not let Pete Daly steal
Oh right.
even against the
Right.
Yankees and get thrown out.
Right.
No,
Yeah,
no.
I agree.
Now, if he gets picked off, I'll let him get picked off because I could see that being stupid and not paying attention, and you know what I'm saying. But I'm not letting him steal.
Yep.
No,
Yeah, yeah. If
no.
it's like late in the game and it's like say Red Sox are down 4-1 or 5-1, and it's like eighth inning or ninth inning, and one the leadoff batter gets on, I'm not letting him steal. Like
Yeah, and that's the
I'm
same
gonna
thing.
I
If
need the
Pete
base
Daly
runners. I
actually
can't I
steals
can't.
second, I'm not letting him steal second either.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Like I'm like, no, he's
yeah,
not stealing because it doesn't matter. I need 5 runs.
yes,
I'm not gonna let the leadoff runner get
yeah.
thrown out
It's
stealing.
cost
You know
me
what I mean?
games being fair
Yeah,
with
Yeah,
the
yeah,
well,
Braves and the
World's
exactly.
Worst Gamer
Yankees. It
says you
cost
don't have. He says one can choose to be fair, but they don't have to be. Bernie
be
says
right.
here he contends that automatic steals in APA are flawed. What are your thoughts
They
on that,
are.
Dwayne? You
They
Oh,
guys
are.
think that? Yeah.
oh, correct. Yeah.
It
Now
is.
it's going to hurt me in a replay, in a
Hmm.
season replay, because they're not going to get thrown out as much, and they're not going to steal. The numbers and the charts are built to get the stats right,
Yeah.
but base situations and
For
game
games, yeah.
situations, that board doesn't know that. It's just
Right.
trying to get the stats right. So
Hmm.
You roll
that
that
is a
11.
flaw in the game, but yeah,
And I mean, that's not necessarily an advantage, but like, because it's been so long since I've played cards and dice, so when I'm playing, like even right now, I'm just hitting go so that this is AI versus AI. And by the way, we're in a third game here now.
I
Um,
know.
but it's fun. It's we had a couple good games here. Well, the Giants just got pounded after a 4-0 lead, but so with an AI, right? I don't know what that other manager is going to do, and I like that.
right.
But when
Right.
when I was doing cards and dice, it's like I think it was Status Pro. This is the one I
Yes,
played
you got
most
a
in
lot of
college.
decisions to make in status pro.
Yeah, because I'm
You
like,
got to
I want to
decide
send
whether to
this
steal or
guy.
not on your own. You got
Right.
to decide whether to advance the runner. Yeah, there's a you're. I figured that's what game you was talking about.
Yeah.
There is a lot of decisions where you're having to play against yourself. Well, I want him to advance, but then his arm's real good, and I already know that. So am I going to throw the second or
Mm-hmm.
throw the ball in so the runner on third? Yeah, you got a lot of decisions in status pro that the game is not built to help you one bit. You're
No, it
correct.
isn't. Which is why I
Yep.
tried playing it solo a couple times. I'm like, forget it. And then, but we always played head to head in school.
Yep.
But man, because I'd be like, I get somebody on first, and it's like, I want to steal, but I can't just like rolling this guy still
Yeah, I mean,
successfully
the only thing you had in
because the
status quo,
manager's
if
going to
my
call,
memory's correct, is you had
right?
the A, B, C, D. And in
Yes,
certain situations, a B couldn't steal, a C couldn't steal, and a D couldn't steal. Am I right?
right. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that was the only thing holding you back. And if it was eligible, then it's on you. And you could have a D stealer with, I can't remember the range. He could be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
but he could only steal like if there was 2 outs in the seventh or eighth inning or something. But yeah,
What do you guys
yep.
think about? There's been a lot of talk around different channels. Um, about closed engines versus open engines, and some people have preferences, and others. What do you guys? I
Mm.
mean, do you guys think that difference between so a game like this or out of the park baseball or action PC where you don't see there's no charts, right? And you've got all the stuff going. Do you think that games where you can see the outcomes of plays are better, more immersive, or just because
Oh,
that's kind of like that seems to be a thing in the last few years that people are having these kind of talks about open engines and closed engines.
yeah.
Just kind of get your thoughts and people in the community as well or on the
I
chat too.
Yeah, I think open engine. I've come around. I think it's great. I mean, I love rolling the dice. I love seeing how play gets resolved. Like the numbers and how the dice rolls, and it
Mm-hmm.
is a little now going back to like OOTP or Action PC. It's a little different not seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, But since I found the cards and dice, it definitely is more of a I'm like, oh, I really like that. I just want to mention the PC replay baseball is perfect for me because that's on the PC
Mm-hmm.
and you can still roll your dice and you just put the dice in there and that's great, and it uses the same calculations that you would use in a card game, except it's all on the PC. I love that mixture. I
Mm-hmm.
just can't. I don't use it because I don't have the '86 season.
What
Yeah.
about you, Dwayne?
I like the open engine because I know it's not, but deep down sometimes I'm thinking to myself, is that bastard cheating to get this game close? I'm not saying cheating to
Oh,
win, but
Right.
it's amazing sometimes you're up 8-0 and all of
yeah.
a sudden in the ninth inning it's a 8-7 ball game. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking to myself, why does this happen so damn much that at the end of the game I still got to bring that closer in or whatever to end this game? And
Right.
again, and I'm not naive enough to think it, but back in the back of my mind, it'd be nice to know what the hell caused all those hits. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
well, with OTP, like all the years I've played, there's always people in the forum complaining, saying they know there must be some comeback code, and that's in the
Yeah.
game.
Again, I'm not crazy enough to believe that, but you,
No, but you know what I
when it
mean. But
happens
but
three or
this,
four games in a row, you start
yeah,
scratching your head.
right, right. But that's what I'm saying with the open engine. You can't really. There's no argument there. You can't.
Yes.
You're rolling the dice, and it's completely random, basically what's going on,
Yeah.
or basically laws of probability are taking over there. But I
And
mean,
I'll tell you the worst one,
yeah.
in my opinion, is action PC football.
Oh, really?
why is
I
that,
play
Dwayne?
that, and it seems like I get out to a nice lead, and their defense will get every freaking call right. And now if I'm on defense against offense, it don't matter what defense I call, that offense is going to get a nice play off. I could call everything perfect. And again, I know in real life that absolutely happens. That you call the right play and
Yep.
a perfect pass is thrown or a running back sheds the tackle and makes it. I know that happens in real life, but when I'm playing that game, I'm like, this is crazy shit.
It's
So yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, people think the AI like trying to keep it close or
Yep.
make it. The whole thing is like, as Bernie's saying, why would the game cheat? I think it's
Right.
more like the game developer saying we don't want the user to just be able to blow out the computer all the time, and so to make up for an AI that's maybe not that great, they might do something like that where they just the computer will come back. I'm not saying that happens all the time with every game,
Right.
but people think.
Right.
Um,
And whether it does or not, Mike, a few games that it does happen to you, you think it happened every game.
Yeah, yeah. Every game you
Whether it
lose.
did or not, that you get that mindset after a while.
Yeah.
And then
I'll tell you what
if
the
you really thought about it, it probably doesn't happen as much as you think. But when it happens, you think, I swear, every time I have a game like this is what happens.
yeah. I'll tell you, it's fun with the cards and dice. You're like, oh, I know that. And when that actually happens in cards and dice, you're like, wow, that's crazy. Like, it is. It's like real. Like it could
Oh,
happen. Like,
exactly.
you could lose a 7-0 lead in the sixth, or seventh inning, and in cards and dice, and then, you bring sometimes you bring in a reliever, and it just shuts everybody down. I'm like, how does that happen? Like, it's
Well,
not
that's
just
like
the
an
cards.
Apple where he's
Yeah.
talking about the splits and all, how it's not built in the game. But it's amazing how many times you do that and it
Yes.
works, and it's just a
Yes.
it makes no sense because the
Doesn't.
dice doesn't know you brought a lefty in, but
Right.
that right
Exactly.
hander is getting pounded. I bring the lefty in, and all of a sudden he shuts him down and gets
Exactly.
6 outs. Yeah,
Right.
it is crazy.
Funny.
Yeah.
Andrew brings up. I like his kind of response. Not. I mean, I love your responses too, guys. Andrew comes up with something I think is pretty astute here. He says, I see them as two different game genres. If a game is supposed to represent a card and dice game, it should show the dice and charts. But pure PC games like action, um, for the PC action PC, don't need open engines. Because the thing is I like what you guys are saying
Yeah.
and
True.
talking about this preferences, but like I've run into like these debates where people argue vociferously that an open engine is somehow better, like at baseball, than a closed engine, and I have trouble buying that. Just
Oh,
and
I
maybe it's
agree.
my
Yeah.
bias from playing years of digital baseball sims, but again, just the one that I'm playing right now. This has got a brilliant baseball engine running
Mm.
underneath, and I've never once felt that digital or the Diamond Mind was suspect, or indeed the other ones that I play. And so
Right.
I don't, I know there are games, non-baseball games that cheat out there. There's a few of them that are notorious for cheating, right? The AI, because but that it's just because of bad programming. It's like, okay, the AI is not good enough, so we're gonna just build it up to, like, you're playing like a big 4X game, and I'm not gonna mention any names, but like the computer will start out with like tons of resources. You've got like one ship, and the computer's got an armada. That's cheating.
Well,
When
Right.
5 years
fighting
have
games are
passed in the
notorious
game,
for that.
right? What's that?
Yep.
What's that,
Fighting
Mike?
games are notorious, like
Yeah.
Street Fight, like those kind of games, like
Oh,
where you're playing
hell
the
yeah.
computer. It's like you could be,
Right.
all of a sudden you could lose every game. It's,
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Bernie says the AI and action PC football is brilliant. Would you guys agree? You guys, I wouldn't know, so I'm
Oh,
passing this along.
yeah. It's a great game. And if you're into football and especially coaching, it's probably one of the best games out there because you can get as involved in coaching as you want in that game. It is crazy. I love it. But like but like I say, you can hit this just like you can in baseball, Beatles. You can hit the CP button and it'll do everything for you.
Do
Or
everything
you
for
can
you.
pick who gets the ball, where you want them to run the ball,
Hmm.
what kind of run you want it to be, um, a draw or whatever. You can get as detailed as you want. It is a great game.
Ken asked something earlier. So for those programs, like the thing that because I'm going to put in another plug here for the Pocket Pennant Run software. Because Ken had asked, like, when like Robert uses those, you roll the dice and who wins. He says, what about the stats? And he's right. If you care about the stats, right? So, and I'm not knocking Robert here, by the way, but he'll use that 10-minute ticker, he calls it, and you just roll the dice. It's like, oh, the Mets take this one from the Cardinals 5-4. Pocket Pennant Run does it really interesting because when you autoplay those games, you can actually look at the box score and it will keep
See, that's
stats.
what I like about Digital
that's
Diamond.
cool.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, a digital
Yep.
diamond keeps those stats, and I think Ken brings up a valid point because if you're going to do a replay, you should care about the stats, right? I mean,
Right.
if you're
If I
doing a
wasn't
series
playing
season
the
replay,
Yankees,
right?
with APA, I sure in the hell if I'm playing the 61 season, if I'm playing the Tigers, I still want to know if Maris and Mantle got the 61 home runs.
Right, right. So you're having trouble with
Yeah,
those Tigers,
yeah,
huh?
Yeah.
Robert does it. Robert does it interesting. Like, he doesn't seem to care about the stats. But he likes the good. He likes a good game, like a good
Yeah.
outcome.
Oh yeah.
He's more interested in like
Oh,
the outcome
exactly.
and
Yep.
close game. And
Hmm.
it's interesting because like he obviously does. He sims out the rest of them. He doesn't care about the stats. It's just funny because it's like, but he does what he does. He's really really good at. You know what I mean? He
Oh
tells the
yeah.
story. It's amazing.
Yes.
Oh
So
yeah. Yeah. He's
it's
hilarious.
good.
He's hilarious. So because
So
Cooney's just he's doing that on there. He says he just got off work. Car dealer. World's Worst Gamer says that Madden is scripted at times. It cheats. Again, I wouldn't know.
I wouldn't
Uh,
know. I
I
haven't
don't.
played
I don't
Madden in like
play.
six seven years.
Yeah. So I mean, this has been good. I mean, I know I've been hitting you guys with a lot of questions, but it's good. It's good conversation.
Yes.
And it fascinates me as a person who's been out of cards and dice for a while and now easing back in. I'm really excited about starting Pocket Pennant Run. I've got the print and play PDF, but I decided to order the physical game, like you, Mike, because I wanted the dice. I didn't feel like going to the local geek store and buying
Right.
three 12-sided dice.
One thing, Beatles, you can have the best of both worlds. You can have your Status Pro, and it'll be on the computer with that digital diamond.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, when I read that, I'm like, he
Yeah,
actually has
you can
digital
have the
dime,
best
or
of
he
both of
has.
your worlds, man.
I
It
know.
take you back to the
Back to my
days
college
in the
days in the Hetzel Union
college,
building,
and it'd be
man.
on the computer.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah, and the fast action cards in that part is completely random. They're not. It's not like
Random, right?
copies
It
of
ain't the
cards.
actual cards. It's not like you run out of cards and have to reshuffle.
Those are just
You can use the
randomized.
same card
Yeah.
for the whole at bat, Beetle, if you want it.
Oh, yeah, I'm so excited about that because again, literally,
Yeah.
dudes,
And
like
you can click manager, and the other team could be managed by the computer, and you wouldn't have to worry about head to head.
Yep.
I love that too because I mean, at Penn State,
Yeah.
it was just that it was like go to class, play status pro baseball, and write the paper the night before. Whatever. It was just class and status pro baseball. But yeah, the and Bernie
Oh,
and
I
Mike,
agree, Bernie.
yeah, it is an excellent engine.
It's
And
doing
again,
a great job in that 61, I
yeah,
think.
yeah,
Like I say, all but two teams in Digital Diamonds doing all but 19 or 22 games for him. And
yeah.
I mean, you got Baltimore and Texas. I mean, Tigers right there, just like they're supposed to be. Um, the Reds are underperforming in the National League, but they're still right there. They're only 6 games back.
Have you guys ever tried? We'll switch over to digital baseball here for a minute. Have you guys, either of you, tried the? And I know, Mike, you're fairly new to Action PC Baseball. Have you guys ever tried the alternate reality mode in that thing? I've never seen that in a
No,
baseball sim before.
that would be cool though. That
It
would be cool
is.
if you're doing like a career thing,
Mm-hmm.
playing every season back to back to back to back. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah,
Yep.
because because the advantage is any baseball replay you play, and this includes cards, so like you're looking at stats, and I'm just Babe Ruth is the obvious, right? 1927, right? Babe Ruth hit 60 home runs, but the action PC thing shakes things up, and every season and look, in any baseball replay, any season you play is never going to turn out the same anyhow, even if you make the same decisions. It's the nature of the beast. But I like that
I'll give you a
addition.
good example in '61. Beetle is Bob
Hmm.
Turley for the Yankees. He started like 6 or 7, maybe even close to 10 games at the beginning of the year.
Hmm.
Terrible. That's because they didn't know Bob Turley at the beginning of the year was going to be terrible and have an arm problem.
Right, and that's so
I
the
know that,
alternate
and if I wasn't playing as
right.
played lineup, I see he's a D in here, and he's not pitching, and he's going to be my fifth starter
Hmm.
every time, not my second or third starter for 4 or 5 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Because I know ahead of time he's a bum. Ralph didn't know that at the time.
Exactly, and that's what I like about that. And we were gonna do that for Steve Tate. Really was pushing for that, and I was too. But we had people like nah 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 because I think it's so new. But I've played with it offline, and it's really cool because what the game does is so the ratings you see in Action PC are actually generated by the stats. Those ratings aren't there. So you've got to go by what you have, and it doesn't shake things up to the point where it's unbelievable. Where Babe Ruth's only going to hit 3 home runs in 1960, but he could be off to a slow start. Babe Ruth might only hit maybe 40, so you don't know. And so Miller Huggins didn't know that, and I like that approach, and I'd like to see more of that in baseball games because I
I
don't.
think it makes you adjust your lineup more.
Oh
Because
yeah,
again, like you said, you don't know if Babe Ruth is in a slump and is going to
right.
end up hitting his 350 some with 60 home runs, or is he going to hit 320 with only 20 home runs?
Well, Andrew here says
Yeah.
he's been tempted to use that alternate replay faction. He says he chickens out every time. He says he's got to pick the right year to test it out. But I think it's a great
Hey,
Yeah.
idea, Mike. Yeah,
hey, Beatles.
yeah,
Quick question.
yeah,
OOTP, right?
yeah.
You go through a lot of stuff. One thing I haven't seen you do, and I don't know if you've ever tried before. Have you ever
What's that?
tried the random debut historical game?
I have offline. It's brilliant. I love it.
Dude, you can do, you can basically start a game at any year,
Yep.
and but you can select the players to debut when it's all mixed in, like every era. So
Yes.
but the cool thing here is that I just looked at
How's
it, I'm
it
looking
work
at it right
now?
now. You can actually select the beginning and end years. So start in 1876 and end at 1919 like you or like the one you're doing for McGreevy. You
Right.
could do that, just those players and have it just and every year when you start when the draft comes up, it just drafts random players. Like you could have Derek Jeter playing with like Babe
Uh,
Ruth, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
love
gotcha.
that
Maybe
mode. I love that mode.
maybe we should spotlight that some one of these days in like a
Oh,
as in a broadcast, you
I
know.
think you got a great idea there. That's I don't
So
know when I'm coming back officially. What I was going to
well,
put out to the chat at this point, if you guys would mind this, is maybe after Bernie does a game on Fridays, is a way for me to kind of just take a breather but still be in touch, and I'm going to be able to watch more games. Is I'd like to try to make this kind of a weekly, just a baseball chat, just what we're doing. And I mean,
yeah,
anybody that's want to come on, it's fair game, or just in the chat. Um, I really, really didn't. I just really needed a break from everything. I do want to build
yeah,
up to McGreevy, but it's been like the other thing too, which I think is people have said is one of the strengths. Certainly not my voice, but the fact that I mix it up with so many games. But I'm finding that I'm getting overextended.
yep,
So I'm doing something in old time baseball, out of park baseball, action PC, digital
yeah.
diamond, baseball for
Got a
Windows,
lot
and it's
going
like,
on.
and it's too much. I've got to rein it in, and I don't want to stick with just one game, because I would get, I can't. So I'm sort of ADD in that way. I couldn't do a complete whole thing. Like so, McGreevy will all be done in Action PC, and the only reason this time it will be is because most people, more people own that game, and so for the
Hmm.
season files and stuff like that. But again,
Yep,
with out of the park baseball, I can put it up there as a quick start. But
yep,
that random debut, Carlos. Yeah, so Carlos, thanking you for that. That random debut in out of the park baseball is absolutely brilliant. So it's kind of like something different, right? That likes for action PCs, alternate reality mode, and it's cool because you don't know who's going to come up, and you can run
yeah.
it a number of times, and you have no
The
idea who
Legends
you're
could
going to get.
almost do that with his franchise stars at with out of the park then.
Yes, and
So
the
the cool
thing,
thing
yeah,
now,
yeah. Go ahead,
the
Mike.
cool thing is it's not all stars either though. It's everybody. It's every
It's
player.
Yeah, I'm
everybody.
saying though he could put his 100 players
Oh yeah,
for each team in there
Hmm.
and this like he's doing now and not know when they're going to show up.
Right.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, what he's doing there is amazing. But yeah,
That's,
that thing in Out of the Park is brilliant, Mike. I'm so glad you brought it up. I've never thought about highlighting that on here, but I think maybe that might be the next Friday project. Um, you
well,
know,
yeah, I was just thinking because you're doing the time frame. You're doing what is it, 1879 to
18
1919?
well, so we had, by necessity, I wanted to do it
On
out of the park
1880.
baseball this time because out of the park goes back to 1871. Action
Yeah,
PC only goes back to 1880. So I had pitched the idea of doing it out of the park so that we could get some players from the
yep,
1870s in, because there's this Castro McGregor league that I'm doing right now that's 15 19th century teams, and of course 15 dead ball teams, but those 15 the 19th century teams were getting like teams from 1879, 18, the earliest team is 1875. But it's
yep.
cool to see them in there. But most people this time around wanted action PC. But yeah, with your idea, I hadn't even made the connection that it would be a very interesting McGreevy to limit those years and a draft. And as you say, it's not going to be this superstar laden league because
Right.
it's going to be everybody. And
And,
in
and
those, yeah, I like that. I like the idea
and
because
also just
you're hoping for Lou Gehrig and you get Mario
well,
Mendoza. I don't know,
well,
whatever.
well, the
Poor
cool.
Mario.
Well, the thing is, like you have a draft, right? You have the initial draft, like the initial inaugural draft, and then that's where you pick your players. So you could do that with if so you don't know who you got. You'll have a list of all the best players out there that are available, and you pick
Hmm.
from them, and then you have to pick your scrubs too. So it's kind of good.
Oh yeah.
The other cool thing about OTP I just wanted to bring up, and because it was from an earlier part of the conversation, was the nicknames. Right, we're talking about nicknames. You can bring up the player list of
And you
history
have
of
them.
baseball, and it'll have all the nicknames in there. So if you're interested in nicknames, you
Oh
can look
yeah.
them all up in OTP. It's very easy.
Out of the park. Well, out of the park baseball. One of the reasons I love it so much is, man, baseball reference is built right into it. I mean, it
Yeah,
really is. It's
basically,
like, yeah,
basically is, yeah.
yeah, because you got those nicknames. World's Worst Gamer. Yeah. So part of my taking a break too. So I'll return just really, really quickly. I'll comment and we'll get back to our conversation. We're gonna have to wind down here soon. But not
Yeah.
me. I don't see my girlfriend until tomorrow night, so I'm fine. But I know Mike, you're married and stuff, and Dwayne.
Yeah.
But um, so World's Worst Gamer commenting, he's still waiting to see some non-sports games. Part of the break, Dwayne, is I want to rebrand the channel. Baseball will still, it's still going to be the mainstay of this channel, but I do. I was talking to Mike before we went on the air, and I was explaining. I said, I'm getting a little burnout. I need a little break, and need to rethink the whole. There's a lot of things I need to rethink, and I do because there's people that have other interests, other gaming interests, and other interests. Period. So you're gonna see it when I come back, World's Worst Gamer, and I found this really cool game on Steam that it's one of those fun sort of pixel games called Legendary Creatures 2, and I've been having a blast with it. So, but what I'm gonna do for the baseball heads in here,
Chester's played that with a board game, hasn't he?
I something like it anyhow.
Yep.
But I'm gonna it'll say on the tin, this is not a baseball game, so that way you guys don't have to waste your time. I'm also gonna be bringing some synthesis, some music to the channel and stuff like that. And down the line, a little bit of Blender stuff to teach people little things about Blender. So I just want to broaden out, not to build the channel, but because you guys aren't just baseball gamers. I know World's Worst Gamer. I mean, come on, yeah, he's the world's worst gamer, which of course he's not. I know Big Clue loves RPGs and grand strategy
You
games and stuff like that. And I've
gotta
been
play
dying.
Factorio. You
Oh,
gotta play Factorio.
Factorio. There you go.
Oh
Right. I
man.
mean, I've got like 3,000 games in the Steam library alone, so I got enough fodder there
How
for
many?
sure. About 3,000 just in Steam.
Oh my
Damn.
God.
Yeah, and then I've
You're
got
a
like
collector, huh? You're
I've
just a
got
collection person.
it's crazy, man. And then I've got like stuff on Epic Games, stuff from GOG. It's insane. I need intervention. But see,
Did
right
you
now
D.
my
Scott
girlfriend,
Howard's comment?
D. Scott Howard. Oh yeah, right, D. Scott. As soon as I become Pope, and since I'm Eastern Orthodox, you can pretty much tell when that's gonna happen. Yep, Path of Exile. I want to do on the channel. Uh,
Anybody play Farming Simulator?
oh, dude, do you remember the night we did that?
I, re- I remember you showing that on your channel, Beetle.
Oh,
Oh
did
my
you? Because I
God,
have that. I got that. I got
you
that.
got it.
Did you?
So,
Is
so
it
Mike,
cool?
give us a review, man. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I played 19 for a long time, for a while, like a couple
Yeah,
years, and
yeah.
I got
The
22, but
graphics are all.
it's actually a lot of fun. I don't know shit about farming, but I'll tell you, I learned a lot just from.
You
So
do
it's
now.
realistic, is it?
Well, all the equipment and all the different machines, it's really cool. Plus you
Yeah.
just walk around with a chainsaw and cut trees down and stuff if you want, and chop them all up in the chipper. It's a lot of fun. It's like relaxing, you
Can
know.
you? Yeah, I mean, it's
Weather
so.
matters and all that, I guess.
What's that?
Weather matters and all.
Yeah, kind
Pray
of.
for
Yeah, I
rain
mean,
and all.
yeah, you
I was
put
looking
whatever
at a
crop.
game. It was called Airport something. It's not like for airport, right? But it's like the loading shit. And I'm thinking, what's this? And I'm thinking, wait a minute. I work for FedEx. Why the hell do I want to play a game where I'm loading airplanes? Right? I mean, It's like I'm gonna get home from work. I'm tired at FedEx, and oh, let me fire up the game so I can move some
Yeah.
stuff up the ramp. No, and D. Scott Howard,
So I can load
sorry,
an airplane instead of a truck.
I'll tell you what. I'll
Anyway,
give you this, D. Scott. There will be one, and I hope Cousin Ken doesn't hit me. But there's a reason why. There is one quasi football game I am actually gonna show on this channel, and you guys probably already know it's coming. But here you go, Blood Bowl, baby.
oh yeah, Blood
Oh
Bowl.
yeah, doing Blood Bowl because there's death, there's magic, there's orcs, there's vampires. So yeah, but that's as close as I'm gonna get, D. Scott, and I'll give you plenty of warning so you can finally say Beatles played a football game on his channel. Only because it's
That's
not.
funny.
And besides the commentators and that are hilarious. Those guys are funny. Have you guys ever played the Blood Bowl games, the PC games? Don't get
No,
Blood Bowl
It,
3. It
it sounds
sucks.
familiar.
Blood Bowl 3
Um,
sucks, but the first and second one, so they're set in the Warhammer Fantasy universe, and they're over the top, dude. They are so violent, but super tactical. I think you guys would like them. They're funny, and you can have teams made of vampires, elves, dwarves, whatever, and they're hilarious. But they're bloody and gory and fun. And I think that if American football was like Blood Bowl, I'd probably be a fan. Sukuni
so-
says after he gets back, he's going to an anime event this weekend, so he's going to have his next Inside Pitch Baseball video up, guys. So keep that in
oh
mind.
my god, my son is completely into anime. I have no idea about it, but he's like all into it. I'm like, oh boy.
So Andrew giving us all some love here. He says, "You three need a podcast. I would tune into the show each week, month." I know it's a lot to ask, but if you guys would be willing to do this, like maybe 3 Fridays out of a month or 2 Fridays out of a month, I know
Yeah,
people are starting to
I
drop
enjoy
off
it.
now, but we peaked out here. We did pretty good. At
Yeah.
one time we
We
had
was in the
15
double
people,
digits for a while.
15 people hanging out, and we're just jawing, and I'm like clicking the damn mouse here in Diamond Mine Baseball. So, and
Yeah, I
Carlos,
mean,
Carlos the
I'm
only
up
one
for
paying
it.
attention to the game. But what's that?
So I'm up for this. Yeah, I mean, I love this. This is great.
Yeah, I
I get
enjoy
my,
it too.
Yeah,
no, I mean, I
it's
don't get to
fun.
talk about this stuff until now, like until, you know what I mean? So it's great.
Yeah, and it
But
helps me because I'm just not ready. I was like, so Dwayne, you're like the streaming demon. I don't know how you sustain it, dude. I was for like
Oh,
maybe
I'm loving it, Beatles.
five
Me and
months. I'm doing
Bernie was
like a
talking.
game every day. But
It's
jeez,
not, it's just, I can't wait to play a game. You know what I'm saying? I forgot how
yeah.
much I loved APA.
I mean, I love it too. I mean, I love doing this because I love the community. But for me, this is like, as I've always said, the game is secondary, and I'm
yep.
loving this more than calling a game. I really am. I
Right.
mean, if I could just get a
That's
My
bunch
why.
of
other
people,
thing with the
yeah.
Beatles is if I let this go for 2 or 3 weeks
Hmm.
and then try to come back, I'm not as immersed in it.
Right.
So that's
Right.
why I like at least doing it sometimes with work and stuff, it might go like 4 days, but I try to do one at least every other day
And
just
you're
to stay immersed
amazing.
in it and keep up with
Oh,
who's hitting,
yeah.
who's pitching well, who's not.
Yeah, I hear
I
you
see.
there.
I like it. I've taken two. Like, I took a year off on this channel, and then like it was like a year on, and then a year off. I'm not taking a year off this time, but I've this channel's actually there's. I started it in 2017 or 20 early 2018, but there's actually 2 years I wasn't on here. I actually took a complete year off, and this time I think I just need a little time off to regroup, and I want to change the name of the channel, but and then I'm thinking, what the hell with Beatles Eternally? I can still piss off Beatles fans, which I am a Beatles fanatic, but I often wonder how many Beatles fans hit this and think it's going to be. And there's nothing on my channel
I
about the
bet.
Beatles. There's nothing here about the Beatles because I don't want to deal with the copyright shit. Right? There's a
Yeah, yeah.
there's a there's a big site or a big channel in here on YouTube called the Beatles Bible, and they used to use clips and bits of the Beatles songs. And I love the Beatles, but the one thing you never want to do is let them like catch you because like with copyright strikes and shit, they're like bad news, man. And
Yeah.
so I'm like,
Michael
but
Jackson's estate still own all that?
no, it's actually no, it's actually McCartney and everything is coming back to
Oh, did
Paul
they get it back? Because
Ringo.
I remember he talked to old Michael and told him about the best thing
Yeah.
you can do is
Yeah.
get copyrights and
Hmm.
all. And he says he listened to me so well that he bought all of ours.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. No, they're
that
coming back.
crazy.
Yeah. Well, so Michael
Yeah.
Jackson needed money, so I guess it went to Sony, but now
Ah,
McCartney. So now they're coming back.
gotcha.
They don't own the whole catalog yet. So any
Uh-huh.
Beatles fans out
Oh,
there you go. You got something about the Beatles. 2 hours,
yeah,
two and
we
a half
did.
hours
See,
in.
we worked everything in.
Yeah. So, but you guys, I'll tell you what. You know, World's Worst Gamer. We had you on mic for like 2 seconds one night. You think you might want to join us maybe next Friday or the following? He's a great guy, man. He gets on, smart guy. Love to get him on too, and get it all.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Like I said,
This is fun.
we all need to start getting together and start talking because we're gonna have this convention at some point, right?
He says no. He sounds great on the mic, and he says no. Canadians. What can you do with Canadians? What are you going to do with them? He's a Canadian. We're going to get you on here, man. You wait. We'll get you. I think we should end the
He's
convention.
going to get a team set up. He wants a production crew. That freaking
He wants a
world's worst
production
gamer's
crew.
got
What
it.
did he say that? Did
Yeah,
he say
look at him.
that?
He says, if I get rich, I'll set up a team to set up my streams for me.
Oh, dude, come on.
Yeah, he wants a
Yeah, because it's
producer, a
hard.
sound man, a cameraman. He's
Holy shit.
awesome.
Yeah, because it's hard to press the little button on OBS that says start streaming. Okay. Or if you don't use OBS, use what a lot of these guys use, man, StreamYards. It's like,
StreamYard, that's what I use. It's
dude, you're
simple.
on. It's just enter studio and you're on. Oh my
Right.
God.
You check your mic, make sure it's on beforehand. You don't do something stupid like that. Not that I ever done that before, huh,
I
Beatles?
have. I have. Dude, I did a whole game. I was so tired, right, one night. But I'm like, no, I want to do a game. I want to do a game. And so it's I wasn't even this is how bad it was, Dwayne. It wasn't even that the game was on. I'm calling the game, so I'm working with two monitors. I could swear that I pressed start streaming on OBS, and I didn't. And I'm watching the game because it was late. I got to the fourth inning and I looked over and the thing is saying we're waiting for your streaming software. I'm like, son of a bitch, son of a bitch. I called 4 innings of the game and it was my cats are looking at me like, really? Yeah, seriously. So,
So,
oh my
hey,
God,
Yeah,
that's
'cause that one game
embarrassing.
so
you got on there and said, I can't hear you. I think I was only in the first inning there. That was lucky.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
so
And
Yeah,
then
listen, Beatles.
Rob, have you ever watched Rob
Oh,
sometimes he gets on there?
oh yeah.
His
yeah.
speed's not right with his voice and he
Oh, I
sounds
know.
like the chipmunks. Oh,
Yeah.
it's freaking hilarious. But I have to let him know, but I'd just like to have him do the whole video doing it, but I can't do it to him. So I text him or I'll put in the chat, hey bud, your sound's messed up. But it
I'd like
is
to get
funny to
Rob
hear him go
over here. Especially on a night, because again, Rob, like with everybody else here, Rob's a multi-sport fan, and so I think you guys. I don't know. Has he done much with hockey though?
He's been he did some hockey bones when it first came out.
Okay, I mean, because
Yeah.
I know he's huge into wrestling and like,
He's been doing wrestling a lot, that squared circle.
yeah, that and
He
he
really
and he
got
did
into that
he did
game.
that red, white, and blue racing that you do too, though, right?
Yes, he
Mhm.
that's how I got to his channel, Beatles, was I bought Red, White, and Blue and searched on YouTube Red, White, and Blue Racing, and he was one of the first ones I got to. And he's the one that got me into streaming.
Oh,
I'm
really?
talking to him on the chat and said, you need to get a channel. I'm like, I'm not spending a bunch of money, bud. He's like,
Yeah.
Dwayne, my camera cost me like 20 some bucks.
Oh yeah, and he
He
won't
says, and then I
play.
got a headphone. He says, you don't even need a headphone if you don't want one. And
Oh,
that's what got
he's
me involved.
And
Yeah.
the other thing, he's a neo luddite man because he won't play a digital game. Okay. By the way, Baltimore edges Los Angeles 3-2. This is that set you guys I
3-2,
was
yep.
telling you about that doesn't. It's like an all-time great set, but it's split into eras, and so you don't
I'm gonna
have
play the
like
whole World Series
all-time
tonight.
greats. Yeah, right. Pretty much. No, we'll stop here at this game. We did 3 baseball games tonight. But
Yeah.
Rob's funny because I've asked him when I used to go to his channel a lot. I'm like, dude, do you play action PC baseball? But I'm not gonna play that stuff. Blah, 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 blah. And he won't. He won't.
Yeah.
He and I don't know. Rob's been around for how long now on his channel? Because he's a bit above
Oh,
me in subscribers. Not that many, but he's above you and me.
I think he started out doing a Red Sox replay. and he played every game on there, 162 games like I'm doing, and I think that was like 5 or 6 years ago. I could be wrong, Beatles, but it's been a
Yeah,
while.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
So
yeah.
It's funny, but he will not. And I'm like, but
The
why
only
do you
thing
not
I've
want?
ever seen him do with PC is a wrestling game on the PC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's funny,
Yeah,
but he just and I love it. But you know what? He's got his whole jabroni network, which I should
yeah,
probably
yeah.
I should tell it. But he's got that branding. So I was gonna like send him a little comment and tell him how to actually spell it in Italian, but it looks funny or misspelled. So I'm just leave it go. Because it's not how it's spelled in
Yeah,
Italian.
he's a good dude, man.
He is. Rob's a nice
Yeah.
guy. Really
Yes.
like him, and I tell you what, he makes everybody feel welcome. I just feel bad I can't get over there, but a lot of stuff he's doing, I'm like so I'll catch, believe it or not, and you guys have seen me. I will watch when guys are doing other sports. I might not know what the hell's going on, but it's about community.
I'll
But
tell you one thing he's been doing here lately, Beatles, and I know you like it. You said he's been doing a lot of Glory Days boxing the last week or so.
I
And
love
that's an
that game.
excellent game. I
Oh my
love that
God,
Glory Days boxing.
yeah,
God, Anthony did such a great job with that.
he did, but he doesn't have his damn baseball game out yet.
Baseball, I
And
know.
and baseball and
guys,
baseball's his favorite sport. Go figure. So
Correct,
so
yes.
he did a boxing game. Now he has the college football game. It's like, dude,
And
you're
he's
you're
doing an NFL.
yeah, you're a
yeah, but,
baseball fan first. Where's the baseball game? And every
but
time
doesn't
he
it have
comes in,
something
he
to, do you think
laughs.
it has something to do with the fact there's like 90 something baseball games out there?
I don't know, but he
I
wants to
think it,
make it.
I think a part of it is the way he is with trying to be so meticulous, trying to do all those players, rate
Right.
Yeah.
all of
Oh
them.
yeah.
I think that's what it is. I think he's had a game or two probably designed Mike, and then he starts playing it and doesn't like it and
Yep.
starts all
Oh yeah, I
over.
can
I think
imagine.
that's what happens with him.
Well, there's a
Yeah.
lot to
Yeah,
live up to too. I mean, you have to
yeah.
with all these other competition out there. It's
Oh,
Oh
kind
yeah.
of
exactly.
crazy.
And it's
And he
I think
tries
So,
to
all
come
right,
especially
up with
listen,
something
guys,
different.
I gotta jump. It's like pushing 2:30 a.m.
Hey
here.
Mike,
So
thank you for tonight,
Yep.
man. I was not even gonna be like doing this. You're like, hey, I'm like, oh, let's just
good.
do it on broadcast, and we still have
Yeah.
8 people hanging out.
So I just wanted to say, Beatles, before I go, is that when
Yeah.
I saw your note on Discord, I was bummed, and I was like, oh shit, what happened? And I
Mm.
just wanted you to know that like you don't have to stream games, you don't have to broadcast games, but I think doing stuff like this is great. And I think you agree, right? That you don't mind doing this, chin wags and
This
stuff.
is what
So
I love. This I
right.
would rather
So
do this than a baseball game. Believe it or
n-
not.
right, and I'm right there with you. So anytime you want to do that, like obviously that we have a good group here, and
Your
we can just
baseball
hang
games
out.
like the
Don't feel
candy
pressured.
gets them into the
Don't feel
store,
pressured
Beatles.
to broadcast games. I'd love to see some of you do a lot of other stuff too. So I just wanted you to
Excellent,
know that. So don't worry
Mike.
about it.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it,
All
and
right.
we'll try to do this again next Friday.
All right, man. Thanks,
All
guys.
right.
Thanks, Dwayne.
Hey, go on,
All
Mike.
right.
I'll talk to you later.
All right, man. So Dwayne, it's just you and I down here. I know
Yep.
you got to go soon too. You got the missus. World's Worst Gamer that says, yeah, you guys are all chit chatting low together. Would be good to have you through talking again. We will definitely do that. So and Carlos, yeah, is saying great to hang out with friends. Andrew says
Oh,
thank
exactly.
you.
That's what it's
So
all
we don't need you
about.
broadcasting games. Yeah, thank you because I'm a shit broadcaster anyhow. So
Yeah,
I,
but your broadcast is like the candy, buddy. It gets the kid in the store, and then you lock the door on him and
not
won't let him
mine.
out.
That's Chris Slovic and that's Legends. Those guys are and our Red Sox fan. Those guys are the broadcasters. Not me, man. I don't play. I mean, I think
Oh,
you
you do a
what you.
great job, bud. Don't sell yourself so
Ah,
short.
but I'm not. It's
Yeah.
it's not the same for me, man. I just want to talk baseball or talk whatever.
Cool. Yeah.
I really do. And this was so much fun tonight. But it's something like this every night. I
Well,
mean, now
another thing you
Rob
could do
pulls it
though,
off,
Beatles,
but
where you're not broadcasting is do all Ernie and have the game playing. You know what
oh
I'm
yeah,
saying?
that's and
Yep.
I do that for like guys, because I figure if they're rolling up a game, they just want a baseball game in the background, and usually
Yeah.
an APA PC baseball game goes 50 minutes and it's done. But what happens is I end up talking for another hour because we'll get into something, and it's like I just like talking to you guys, and
Right.
whoever wants to come on the mic or just in the chat and interacting. It's been fun, and Diamond Mine Baseball gets some love on the channel then because I we just did
What did
three
Ernie say
games.
the other night? I never heard him say it in all the years I played that. What was it that he said? You said you never heard him say it either.
I know, damn it! I'm like I never
What
ever heard
was
that
that?
before. That game is weird. I've been playing it forever, and I still hear new stuff in that game. It's like, how many lines did he record in that game?
Oh, exactly. I can't remember what he said because I never heard him say it either. Oh, it was he said something and he said like not after it. You remember?
I know.
Like it was
I can't
a
remember what
great
it said.
pitch, not
It was
something like
something
that.
like that. Yeah. Oh, it was the human
Yeah.
rights thing. The human rights thing, because he always reads a letter when it's a blowout. You know, the little
Yes, that's
rustled
what it was.
paper.
It was somebody's letter, right?
Yeah. Oh,
You're
support the
right.
human rights campaign. I'm like, I've never heard him say that.
Yes.
Because he'll say
That's
weird
it.
stuff. I'm like, somebody wrote in with a recipe one time. Did you ever hear this one for a blackberry pie?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, yeah. There's like a blackberry pie recipe, and somebody wanted to meet him after the game for drinks. I know you've heard that one. You had
Well,
to.
like I say, the one that got me the most, and I use it in the broadcast, is I was sitting there for the first time, and he said, "What about that reminded you of Linda Ronstadt?" And I'm like, "What?" And he, as soon as I said what, he says, "You know, blew by
Yeah,
you."
I
I'm
know,
like,
right? Oh my
"Bastard, you
god.
got me." I said, "What?" Out loud to a freaking action PC type game. I said it out loud, and he answered me and says, "You know, blew
Blew
by
by
you." I'm
you.
like, "That is freaking awesome,
Oh
man."
yeah. Those old time broadcasters, man, just love the idiosyncrasies, you know, I mean, John Miller could like imitate these guys, but you know, my
Yes.
opinion, man, Vince Scully was the last of the great ones, and because those guys had ways of like you listen to Vince Scully, and it was almost like poetry in some ways to me listening to Scully, right? And you had these guys with all these years of experience, or Harwell, right? A broadcaster who was traded for a catcher from the Atlanta Crackers, and that's how he got into
Right.
broadcasting, right? Or
And most
you
of
know,
them, Beatles too, give them credit, started out in radio, and
they
I
did,
think that helps them. Now these guys, they
yeah,
start out the local freaking high school doing local broadcast on,
mm,
so they're all TV announcers. You know what I'm saying?
oh
Which
yeah,
is a big difference. And then when
huge,
those radio guys got the TV, they still had that storytelling to keep you into watching the game because radio you didn't have nothing to see, so here they are telling you a story to make you feel like you're there. You know?
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Andrew talking about AI takeover. You know, we've talked about this before. That
Oh yeah,
I'd
with the
love to
voice and
see
all.
out of the park baseball or action PC or somebody use AI technology, because you all you need is a few lines of somebody's voice and you can start
Right.
doing that. And I mean, I don't know what the licensing would be. We get somebody like Chris Slovic, because Chris Slovic sounds like the real deal Holyfield when he calls a
Yes.
game.
He's
Man, he's
good, ain't he?
amazing. And
Yes.
it's like, come on, somebody get his voice and and do it. And I would love it. I would love it. I would love it because, but it was easy with APA baseball because there's no animation, so you don't have to sync up what's going on in the field.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
how do you do that? I think I think it'd be easier with Action PC. Out of the park, I think. In fact, out of the park's play by play, you have to really trick that thing to get close to, you know, because you got
Yes.
the animation on the field and then the text baseball game, the text going on up there. And what people don't realize is out of the park baseball has really good play by play actually. But I never look at it when I'm even when I'm playing
Right.
offline. I don't watch the play by play unless there's a weird play, and I'm like, what? Wait, what the hell happened here?
Well, that time you had me and Aaron on there, Joe, it
Mm-hmm.
was messing me up. I was at 83-90 game we did the Reds and the Braves. So action PC, I can kind of tell by the shadow with out of the park, it was screwing me up. And I was calling a deep fly ball to center field, and it was like caught in the mound. I'm like, what
Oh, I
the
know.
heck?
Yeah. Out of the park
Darn.
baseball. And, you know, Ernie or Bernie was saying earlier how and like Action PC is an easy it's easy to call a game in that. Out of the park baseball, man, it's like shit like hell breaks loose in that game. And you've got to watch
Yes.
because yeah, I've miscalled so many plays. Like the ones that get me are the ones that look like I'll say, oh, This one just a little polite fly ball to left field, and all of a sudden it's 5 rows back in the seats. I'm
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
oops.
Yep. Yeah, like I say, I was calling for a deep fly ball. That ball was hit so far, I thought, and I look up and it was just hit 200 miles up in the air and comes right down on the pitcher's mound. So
Oh
I
my
thought to
God.
myself, before I start doing that World Series, I'm going to do some games just to watch it and get used to it.
Well,
Yeah.
this is going to sound terribly geek to you. So before I started doing, and now Red Sox fan was the one that got me into this stuff. And so what I did, because I was like, oh man, oh man, oh man, this you're gonna laugh. This is how much of a geek I am. I was playing games offline and calling them to try to get used to just the
Oh, that's
feel,
what
the
I'm going to
rhythm.
do. You're exactly right.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
play, the play, when the players that disappear. Yeah, I know that's a drag.
Yeah.
That's a drag. But out of the park, what I'm hoping for in the next iteration, okay, is like if you'll get a double play that's broken up and it'll say that so and so is upended. I want that animation in there. I want
Yes.
the animation of the shortstop jumping over the runner. I hope they'll get it better infield animation in that game. The
Did you
outfielders are
watch
pretty good.
Legends game the other day?
I did not, man, with my work
It was a
schedule.
foul ball into the seats.
Yeah.
and and that's what he said. Well, somehow the ball was like 20 feet up in like the third or fourth row. The third baseman runs over to the wall. He kind of tries to run through the wall. He keeps running and running even though he's at the wall. He doesn't stop, and somehow the ball ended up in his glove.
Oh my
So
God.
just like he thought once he went back and showed the replay, it would straighten it out and you'd be able to actually see it. But the
Mm.
replay was the same thing. Oh, it was so funny.
Now I'll give
And
you
that's the
guys a
first
good
time I
tip
ever seen
about.
that game glitch at like that. You
Oh
know what
yeah,
I'm
I've
saying?
seen
It
a
was
glitch, but that's serious. I'll give you guys
yeah.
some tip. I'll give you guys some broadcast. One quick broadcasting tip on out of the park baseball. If you play batter by batter, if there's a foul ball, it's always going to be caught. If you play pitch by pitch, it will go in. It can either be caught or go in the seats. So if you switch to pitch by pitch and there's a foul ball, it could make
Yes,
it to the
because it's going
seats.
to be the result of the play.
Exactly. So it's
Right. They're
always a
not going to
foul
show you
out.
a foul ball. Right. I
Yeah,
got you. It makes
always.
sense.
Yeah, always.
Yes.
Although
Yeah, that
sometimes
does
it'll
make
just throw
sense.
in a strike and say, pitch out, nothing going. Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
But yeah, so if you see a ball twisting foul, you can call that with all the confidence in the world because it's going to be caught.
Yeah, that does make sense, Beetle. I get you.
The
Yeah,
other thing
because
out of
they're
the
not
park
just going
does,
to show you foul ball after foul ball after foul ball.
well, the other thing it does, it doesn't do too well, and neither does Action PC, are outfield collisions. Because like so if
Oh,
you look at
I
Action
I've never
PC,
even seen one with Action PC as far as actually happening.
yeah. So what
Right? It
happens
might
with
say
Action
that they
PC?
ran into each other.
Oh no! So what'll happen? It's hilarious. I was doing a game one night, and it was not long ago, and I'd forgotten about it because I'd seen a few outfield collisions in that game. What happens is it's like the center fielder and right fielder. The two little chalkboard like your player labels, they'll
Uh
actually
huh.
pass each other, and the center fielder will be in right field, the right fielder will be in center field. But you look at the play by play, and they've collided into one another, and that's really
Oh,
embarrassing because you're like, because I'm sitting there and I'm on the broadcast. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
my
what
biggest thing is what
the game's losing it.
gets me is when the
Yeah,
ball gets hit off the pitcher and
yeah,
is ricocheted to the second baseman or the shortstop or
and out of
whatever,
the
and
park
how the
baseball.
ball all of a
Yeah,
sudden makes a left hand turn.
yes.
And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And but now I pretty much know 9 times out of 10 it's going to be off the pitcher's glove or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But you got to do what you got to do. The weirdest one though, and I don't even feature it on my channel anymore. It's a shame. I play it offline. That is Dunbar baseball. He's got the makings of a really good baseball game in there, but there's no difference between a fly ball and a ground ball. But also, what's really weird is the ball defies physics. So, like the ball be hit down like say between third and short, and if the ball's supposed to go to short, it will like start down that gap, and it'll just make a sharp right turn right to the shortstop. It's like I can't broadcast this.
Bugs Bunny.
Exactly. What was
Looney
that?
Tune baseball.
Remember that? Right? Was it he had that was the ball had a bat repellent and the bat had a ball repellent? You remember that episode?
Yeah.
That with bugs? Loved
Yeah.
it, man. Loved it.
Oh,
Anyhow, dude, I
bugs.
look, you got a family. I know you got to get to bed. I'm like the one here with just two cats.
Well, thanks for having
So,
me, buddy.
oh, all the time. And if you're free, we don't get, if Mrs. Dwayne doesn't get too upset, if you wouldn't want, you want to come on and do this on Fridays, I think it'd
Yeah,
be great.
sounds like
And
a
with me
plan.
taking a break, I can catch up and catch a lot of you guys' games. You doing anything tomorrow? You doing any games tomorrow?
Yeah, I got a double hitter between the Yankees and the Senators. I like to do both games in the morning before, like, I don't know what baseball demos is doing now that he's in the playoffs.
Okay.
I don't know if he's doing his afternoon Saturdays anymore,
Okay.
but Bernie, a lot of times he gets on in the afternoon too. So,
Okay.
yep.
Yeah, because I'm with this work schedule, I'm so behind everybody's games right now, and I feel like a putz, because I'm like, hey, hi guys, sorry, I'm trying to catch up, and I really am. I sat Sakuni 007. I've been trying to catch up on his stuff. I'll catch yours. You usually go on in the afternoon in the weekdays, just as I'm about to go to work. I can catch like three
Oh, is that
innings of your
right?
games. That's
What
about
time do you
it.
go to work?
So I'm in there like 3 o'clock usually or something or
Oh,
whatever, sometimes 5 o'clock. And it's like today I'm getting ready for work and I'm like, well, what's going on? I've got like a half hour and you just started a game. And I'm like, should I say hi? And I don't like to say, hey, hi, bye. So I thought, just leave a like.
yeah.
But I love, what you guys are doing. And it's like, now that I'm not going to be broadcasting for a while, I can catch up, and I really, I do miss this. But anyhow, Carlos, thank you guys. We've gone
Yeah, thanks,
past the
guys.
point of no return in out of the park, or in out of the park. What the hell? In YouTube, it cuts off the stream, and the last person on here, or the first person that I could thank, was when the Rangers won, whenever they won. That was out Red
Is that
Sox
right?
fans. Yeah, it doesn't go back any further. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I missed you. Thank you. You guys are family, friends, the whole thing, and hopefully we'll see you next Friday. In the meantime, keep supporting each other. Guys, keep putting your offline games, your projects, put them in the Discord. Um, you know, come to each other's games and what have you. We have a great community here, and let's keep it growing. All right, for
Oh,
everybody,
exactly,
because
bud.
everybody. It's not about subscribers, but everybody's channel here is criminally underrated. All right, so we want to help everybody get up there, and even the big channels like Al, and Jester, who's playing more baseball again now. Nice to see.
Yeah, he's getting back in. He just bought 2 seasons for payoff. He bought the
Nice.
'94 and the 2001 season with man.
Yeah, but try to get
A lot of
Jester to.
sorting with that.
I know, but try to get Jester to realize that baseball existed before 1990. Good luck with that. He did do a
Yeah, before his
1989 replay
Cardinals,
one year. Oh yeah, I know, but it's like, but you have the. It's like I've gone in this chat. I'm like, but Jester, believe it or not, the Cardinals had great teams in the 1940s. I mean, great teams, man. Come on,
Right? The Gas House
1960s.
Gang and all that.
Earliest replay I've ever seen him do was he did that Bo Jackson replay some years ago, 1989. That's the earliest I've seen Jester go in baseball. So it's like, come on, man, the 1960s. Don't you want to have Bob Gibson? You're a Cardinals fan. What's wrong with you?
Exactly.
And,
Right.
and what have you, and Kurt Flood and
Dan
all
the
these guys.
Man.
Stan Musial.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Kurt Flood. Right.
All right. Nathaniel,
Yeah.
thanks for coming in, buddy. Carlos says if you put up Discord, it would be you can put basketball stuff. That's fine. People are already putting other sports up there. Feel free, man. Feel free. It's cool. It's all about community.
Yeah.
Dwayne,
007 old Bo Nose. These was great commercials.
which one was that?
These Bo Nose commercials.
Oh, Bo
Then
knows.
old
Oh,
Bo
I
Diddley
remember
would be
those.
at the end, and he'd say,
Yeah,
"Bo don't know Diddley."
Bo don't know diddly exactly. All right,
Yeah.
man. Hey, thank you, Dwayne, very much. And so, when's the
Oh, thank you,
surgery?
bud.
When's the surgery?
November 21st, and then a week later, I'll do the right eye, November 28th.
Okay, well, man, we're all gonna be pulling for you. It's all gonna be
Oh, thank
fine.
you, man. I sure
It's
hope it's. I like to say, I don't like people messing with my eyeballs. It scares me.
oh,
I'm a
me
chicken
either.
when it comes to that, because everybody back in the early 2000s at work were getting that LASIK surgery done,
Yeah,
and I said I get up every morning, put my glasses on, I'm good.
yeah. Jess is like my girlfriend. She's like, once when she, you know how you get your touchy feely, and she'll go to him and I was like, and I'll like jump back. She'll like, don't you trust me? I said it has nothing to do with you. I said I don't like people near my eyes. Doesn't matter.
Oh, damn right. Sure, I don't
I
want to
oh
be
my
around
god.
my own eyes. Like I say,
Exactly.
that's why I never got contacts. I don't want to touch my own damn eye.
No, no, hell no,
Ooh,
man, hell to the no.
nope.
Do you know roughly what time tomorrow morning? Roughly.
Hopefully around 10 o'clock is my
10
plans,
o'clock.
Beatles. Yeah.
Okay, man.
Yep.
Hopefully I will get there as soon as I can. Looking forward to doubleheader action tomorrow. Guys,
Alrighty,
on
man.
behalf of Mike and behalf of Dwayne, thank you one and all for hanging out with us tonight. This was a blast. All right? All right, guys. Dwayne, I'm going to go ahead and knock it off here. And thanks,
All
bud.
right, buddy. You have a good one.
All right, you too. Bye. All right, guys. Everybody have a great night and a great weekend. All right, and play lots of whatever you like to do. All right. Until next Friday, see you around the batting cage. All right. Good night, everybody.